Yay.
Okay.
Okay, so let's get started. Hello,
Mm.
everybody. Welcome to. I guess there it's like a podcast or an interview or something, but welcome to this interview with KittyDVR, lovely, adorable, sweetheart,
Oh.
cutie. They are a Twitch streamer and a lovely singer and amazing role player and
What?
big cutie and leader of the Femboy army. How would you? This is such a hard question. I never know how to answer this when people ask me. But how would you
Mm.
describe your content and your channel and you?
I'm a wholesome degenerate.
You're a wholesome degenerate. Okay, that's it.
My chat kind of helped me come up with that because it kind of sums me up pretty well. My chat, my streams can fluctuate from me being like super sweet and not necessarily talking about anything too risque, and then immediately into, well, you came in at one of the moments when it wasn't
Yeah.
wholesome.
I was actually there. I just happened to
Oh,
make it put in a mode there.
yeah.
No, I do. I'll
But yeah,
lurk your
it
stream a lot, and
fluctuates.
yeah, and
Mm.
like I'll just be working, and suddenly you'll say something very, very lewd. But it's it's never too bad. It's never too
No,
bad.
it's never too bad, at least for now, until something really bad does happen. And then my mods yell at me.
I've heard some
Um,
really bad stuff. Well, not bad, but like very sus stuff on Twitch, and
mhm.
um,
Yeah.
I think you
I don't
said
think I'll definitely compare
like
to
compared to
some of it.
Lulu, I think like if Lulu makes me feel safe saying certain things, I
Yeah,
think you said
Lulu makes you feel safe, and yeah, like I know I haven't gotten bad if I haven't gotten to the point that Lulu's gotten to, essentially.
yeah. Um
You know,
yeah.
or at least if
Or I
my
was
mods aren't yelling at me to shut up.
um so I got a couple questions for you. I guess the first one would be how long have you been streaming for now?
I think it's a little over 2 years now. Kind of working on
Mhm.
three,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. I didn't originally start out playing VRchat is the funny thing. I feel like VRchat definitely got the ball rolling though for more people being interested in my streams. I started off with just desktop games. I would play basically whatever was in my Steam library that I either got gifted to me or just never like bought but never played because I spent a lot of time on Gary's mod. So and playing games with friends, so I didn't really have a lot of time to play my story games. And so when I got into streaming, I took that as kind of like the opportunity to like, oh, maybe now like for a few hours a day, I can I can go ahead and just like play what I want, right? So I would play games like Sekiro and then platformers and things like that, like and other games like Okami, some Final Fantasy games and a few things like that. Like I tried to kind of like I never had a specific game that I made. It was
Mhm.
all whatever I kind of felt like playing. And then Danganronpa was like a really popular one on my stream back then. Like people really loved Danganronpa, and that one definitely got me a lot of attention. I think it was the first time I'd ever streamed to like 30 people was when I played Danganronpa
Oh
V3.
wow.
Um,
Mhm.
yeah, and it was during a court case too. So after that, like my streams kind of calmed down again to like the usual like 10 people or something or less, which
Mhm.
was nice. I never complained about it. I'm always happy with whoever comes and watches. Like it doesn't matter the number. Um, but yeah, and then I got into VR. Like I remember I started seeing VRchat getting recommended to me on YouTube. Um, and I kind of it sparked a little bit of interest in the game. It was around the Ugandan Knuckles was like a thing, and so I remember I played a little bit on desktop around that time, and then forgot about the game for like I think a year until the Rift S came out, and then that's kind of when everything like kind of like the stars aligned, and I was like, maybe now's the time that I get into this game, and like hang out with friends in this game and like world hop and do stupid stuff with friends. Um, and the rest is history, and here we are now basically like it kind of
Cool.
yeah.
So how long exactly have you been playing VR now? Do you remember like what
uh,
year when
2019 was when I started officially, like
2019?
with
Okay.
like not just for like the Knuckles meme, because I played during the Knuckles meme for like maybe a day or two like when it was like kind of at its peak, and then I stopped playing again because I didn't have VR, so I didn't see the point in playing it.
You mentioned earlier that you knew EO before, but how did you like start meeting people in VR? Was it like through other streamers, or did you just meet people in
Through
Publix,
EO.
or through EO pretty much?
Yeah,
Okay.
because he was an extrovert.
Yeah.
I'm an introvert. I would
Mm-hmm.
just kind of join on him, and then I'm about to expose him, but like in the early times of VRchat, he knew a lot of mutes. We had this joke that he would just go around collecting mutes, and because every time I joined off him in VRchat, he'd be like, "Kitty, to look at this new friend I made. They're a mute," and I'd be like, "Oh, you know, they're cute, right?" And it
Mm-hmm.
just kind of happened like a few times. I was like, "Okay, all right." He's almost everyone he's introducing to me right now is a mute. He's There's a problem here. So I kind of teased them about that. But no, it was genuinely mostly through EO. And some people were from like my chat from like early on in the streams where I did kind of
Mm-hmm.
trust some people to add that came into like my chats and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
also just people that I knew before I even got into VR chat essentially. Like that was like the majority of my friend group was people already knew me before VR chat and they just kind of followed me in my streaming endeavors and my VR chat endeavors,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then through hanging out with EO because he went out into lobbies more than I did, I met a few more people, and then I kind of started at one point. I was like, I kind of want to make friends myself too, and so I just stopped being as shy as I was and tried to hang out with the people that I had added through being in like the streamer lobbies and stuff, and being like, let's see who's willing to hang out, and that's how I got to know most of the people that I know now, if not all of them. So.
That's pretty cool. So you never really had to go like through Publix and just talk to random people. I guess in a
No, I
way
never
with
did.
streamers you kind of have to like
No.
put yourself out there, but you don't have to like
Yeah.
it's
No, I
yeah.
didn't do that. I just kind of existed around people I already knew, and then
Mhm.
I guess like a friend of a friend would become like a friend of mine and things like that, right?
Yeah.
Like it was all through like association. Like almost everyone I know knows someone else that knows me or something. I feel like there's probably a lot of people who like for example um like what is it like that know of me because they've seen me hang out with like someone else, right? But
Mhm.
they haven't met me yet, essentially, and vice
Yeah.
versa. There's a lot of people that I know of because they hang out with a friend of mine, but I haven't met them yet, because this community is like super tight knit. Like it's like if you know
Yeah.
someone, chances are they know the person that you've heard of or know to
Mhm.
some extent, right?
That's
So
true. That's true. Pretty much everyone in this game, I feel like at this point, I at least
yeah,
know a friend of a friend of a friend of
yeah.
theirs or something, right?
Mhm.
There's
And even then, Twitter is like there was someone who followed. Oh my God, their name was Section, I think VR,
mhm.
right? They showed up in my chat one day, and I was like, that name looks so very because there's a lot of people who have like VR in the name, but I have no idea who they are, right? But
Mhm.
I assume that they play VR because they have it in there. But like
Yeah.
their name, I was like, I see you on Twitter. You've been on my you've shown up on my feed as like a recommended thing, right? And that's I guess another way to like see people, right? Is like,
Right.
if you actively follow VR chat creators on Twitter, chances are you'll find someone else like that there too, and chances are maybe they also stream or they do TikToks or YouTube or something,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah, Twitter is great for meeting people. I actually didn't use Twitter until I started streaming and like playing
Same.
VRchat. And I only
Same.
really just like keep myself in like VTuber VRchat communities,
Mm,
but it's so good for like yeah, just
yeah,
meeting people, meeting
it
acquaintances
is.
of friends and stuff.
Yeah.
That's actually how I met you, not Twitter,
Mm.
but I met you through Komochi, or mutual friend Komochi Cafe.
Yeah, chemo.
Chemo,
Yeah,
who
yeah, I
I miss
remember.
a lot.
Yeah.
The first like 3 times I saw Kitty, I'd be like, "Oh, hey, Kitty," and they would totally ignore me. They would be like, "Who's this fucking weirdo?" Like, sorry for swearing, but yeah, who's this person? I mean, I don't know what you were thinking. I think you're just like you told me that when you
I
initially meet people, I don't know if it's still the case, but you're kind of standoffish and you kind of like keep your
I still kind
distance.
of am unless
Yeah,
somebody can like vouch for them very
right.
like avidly. And I don't think anybody necessarily vouched Udemy or anything, so I just kind of
Kim didn't, I guess. Kim was like,
yeah, like
whatever.
nobody told me about you or anything, and
Hmm.
whether or
It's
not you were
fair,
like
yeah.
actually like super nice or anything. So I kind of went off of
Aw.
just like, oh, I don't know if this, because again I was going through moments of like people being nice but for ulterior motives and things like that,
Right.
right? So
Yeah.
that was like the main reason I was like super standoffish
Right. Yeah.
in the beginning of everything.
Which
So
is so fair. That's a really valid reason, and I
yeah.
think I'm like an anomaly because I usually just run up to people. I'm like, "Hey, I love you. Hey, hi." But usually when people
Yeah.
do that, they might have an ulterior motive or something. I guess I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
it was for me in some cases. Like with
yeah.
it happened like twice essentially, and for me like
Yeah.
that's that's two times too many essentially for me.
Do you
Um,
would you, are you comfortable talking about what happened, like without using names or
um
anything, or we can
no, yeah, I'm
not?
comfortable. It was
Okay.
mostly just the typical thing that you would hear some people in the VR chat community complain about. It's like, like don't make friends with me just to meet X person type of thing, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it was with like two people was like they noticed I hung out in the lobbies and then they would typically request me only when I was in those lobbies, right? And then and then when they did
Yeah.
join, they just kind of they would, they wouldn't really acknowledge me too much. They'd go to where Funny Lullathon is or whatever, whoever else is there, right? Like and try and be
Right.
around that and not so much, they kind of use me as like a stepping stool essentially. And that's part of the reason why I don't hang out in those lobbies. That's like reason one, right?
Yeah.
As to why. And I kind of branched off to do my own stuff and all that. I'm trying to maybe participate more in like things like this, I guess, like at the very least, like little interview things or event things here and there, like femboy camp and stuff, but
Hmm.
nothing too drastic or like it was back then where I would hang out in those like really big lobbies anymore. At least not on stream. Off stream, I wouldn't mind. I've done it a few times off stream where I show up and I say hi to people,
Hmm.
but that's about it. Never on stream again, right? Because
Yeah.
I don't know, it just doesn't feel comfortable anymore, right?
That's completely fair. And you
Mm.
don't actually stream with anyone. I've seen you're for the most part you're usually by yourself.
Yeah,
Um,
whenever I do have people on, it's a planned thing. I usually like to give them like a thing in advance. Like I've done like one of the ones that I know a lot of people in my chat liked at the time was the maid cafe where I brought on G and Ducci.
aw,
Um
that's cute.
and that
Yeah.
yeah. And we did that. I ran a cafe like a little, it was during one of my maid week streams and I was like, let's have a special guest on it. Right. And then I did like a hot tub stream as well, with a few friends here and there. And it's, like whenever I do have people on, it's usually a planned thing. I also used to do dance streams where I would let friends come and join me in a Just Dance world and like we would
Hmm.
dance and stuff together. So I just don't do anything like as much as I used to, essentially. Like it's I've changed a bit, I guess. I need to plan it now, essentially, beforehand.
What do
And I
you?
don't plan things too often, but
Yeah, when you say you've changed, can you think of anything like specifically like that's changed about you? I guess as a streamer, maybe
um
as a person.
I definitely would not say the things that I say now on stream when I first started out. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Like I've definitely become more open with
Hmm.
my chat about things. I try not to be super serious on stream or anything ever, but I've opened up to at least that idea of having streams here and there where I just, talk to my chat and like check on them and make
Mm.
sure they're doing okay. Like I've had days where I don't intend to stream where it was like a day off for me, but I've noticed like maybe some people posting some stuff and being
Mm.
like, well, you know what, like I'll start up a stream because typically people look forward to my streams and it's a place for them to some extent distract themselves from problems or
Right.
just kind of like get a bit of like a lift in their mood. So I've started streams some days literally just because I've noticed people aren't feeling too good, right? And I wouldn't do
Oh.
that before,
Yeah.
back when I first started streaming because I didn't have much of a community back then. Um, but now I do, and I want to take care of them because
Aw.
I hate to admit it to them because they bully me, but I wouldn't be able to do a lot of what I do if not for them. So
I
I try
think
not to compliment them too often because they're so mean to me.
they
I
really
can't.
adore you though. I lurk in your
Hmm.
chat a lot, and I can tell your community really cares about you and that you care about
Yeah.
them. And you're
Mm.
very, very talkative on your streams. Have you always been that? I guess you haven't always been that talkative. Like you said, you're an
Um,
introvert. And
that's the thing. I'm an introvert with a lot to say.
sure, yeah. I think
Right.
that's a common thing where streamers will be introverted, like most of the
Mm,
time, and then like on stream, that's when they sort of like
yeah.
talk and let it
No.
out. And
Like if you catch me off stream, I'll like most of the time I am a lot more reserved and a lot more quiet most of the time, depending on my energy and like the hour of the day. But like on stream is kind of where I like let loose. It's like it would be similar to kind of like I just had like a long day at work and it's like now it's time to just do whatever I want now that I got home, right? Like streaming just kind of feels like that to me. Where it's like it's time to have some fun,
yeah,
right? So and that's kind of how I want to treat it is just kind of like a fun thing that I do. I don't treat it seriously. I really don't like I don't treat it as like a potential business or anything
mm,
or market myself too much or anything. Like I see VTubers do all this like, like debut stuff or whatever or like hype themselves up. I don't think I could ever stand to do that. Not because I think it's bad or anything, but because I don't know. If I ever like make a live 2D model or get one, I'm just gonna stream one day and say, "Hey, I have a live 2D model now," and not like hype it up or anything. Or like when I
interesting.
switched from like the EO base like Imerus, I didn't really like say like hype up like a new model or a new look and all that like
Yeah,
some people do. I just start the stream and I tell everyone, by the way, I have a new model if y'all haven't noticed. Right? Like
yeah. That's something I actually wanted to ask you about, which is did you get into like model creation and like buying model stuff like right away, or how long have you been doing that
no,
for?
no, that wasn't right at the start. I use mostly public avatars.
Right.
I I went from using like I tried finding like guy models, so I used kind of like e-boyish models, and then I couldn't find too many ones that like I guess look good, or at least like didn't look kind of douchebaggy or like a crash avatar. So I started using kind of like I used an Astolfo model at one point that I
Yeah.
found,
Mm.
and then I had like an era where I used like this one really cute e-girl avatar, and I found this one like femboy model that a lot of my OGs will remember. Like a lot of people who watched me like super back then would recognize with the pink hair, blue eyes and stuff, and like a sweater and stuff, and like thigh highs with boots,
Mm.
and that was kind of like my main avatar for a while. And then at one point I learned about Booth and I learned about Unity and uploading avatars because I didn't know how VRChat really worked in terms of like avatar creation for too long. And so my friend Sopra started making models for me. Um, and because we had this idea, I used to want to do kind of like what Lolathon, Cyberchimp do and have like meme avatars and
Mm-hmm.
things like that and little sketches planned out. And so Sopra would make the models for me because he had more free time on his hands and he genuinely seemed like he knew more of Unity than I could. And I'm slower at those things. I'm not as fast to learn these things, right? And he's definitely really talented now. Like I think he beats himself too much in terms of like saying that he's not good, right? But he's definitely like I've watched him grow in that aspect of Unity and Blender and it's amazing. And he used to make my avatars.
Oh, okay.
With like little memes and stuff on it. I used to have a little hammer that I called the TOS hammer because again I was mostly more wholesome back then, right? So I would if anybody ever did anything that was like lewd or not too like good, I would bonk them with the hammer. It'd be like TOS, bad, right? You know. And then from then on, I found out about Booth and started making my own. I started being like, I kind of want to learn how to at the very least retexture things and upload them as kind of like more like design them myself essentially rather than having him do all the stuff for me. And then I moved away from like trying to do meme avatars because I learned very quickly it's hard to do that when you don't exactly know how to walk up to people and
Mm,
engage and things like that, right? Like, because I'm
right.
not that type of person to walk up in
Yeah.
front of people and do that. So I didn't have the courage to do so.
How much do you think you've spent on booth models?
Oh no, too much.
Too much?
I've yes, like I'll get a Twitch check and at least half of it sometimes has gone straight to booth.
It's so fun though,
Sometimes. It
It's
is. It feels like I'm shopping for
it's like you're
clothes.
buying
Like,
clothes like in real life, except
yeah,
everything fits
no,
perfectly and like you look super
exactly.
cute and
Like, oh my
it's
God.
really
It's
fun.
like, yeah, no, it's the clothes shopping I wish I could have done as a kid instead of like being forced to go
Yeah.
places like with my mom and stuff when I was younger. It's like, no,
Yeah.
this is shopping for me. This is
Right.
for
Yeah, and
me
you
now.
use everything pretty much that you buy, or at least maybe not everything, but
I do, yeah.
I remember I just remember we were talking
Either
about this and
mm,
like I think both of our I think moms just buy you clothes, right? And I'll wear like 10% of the
yes.
clothes my mom buys me or something. Maybe a little more, and
Yeah,
like but
yeah. No. She was very controlling of my fashion growing up.
yeah.
Uh which I didn't mind too much because like she at least kind of knew my taste and at that like because I went through like phases of like what kinds of clothes I like to wear growing up, and so
Mhm.
most of the phases I went through were kind of like what she would get me, and I was okay with it. Like I never complained about it. My only complaint was when she would buy me new things when I didn't need new things because I already have so much. Like I got there's some things I haven't worn, and you're buying me new clothes. We don't need this, right? But it was when I started getting more into high school and like a little later on where I started kind of wanting to wear less kind of like I don't give a crap kind of clothes, right? Like so like joggers and like sweatpants, like a t-shirt and like hoodie, like
Yeah.
because it's comfortable, right? It was comfortable
Yeah.
for me, and I wasn't really into the whole femboy thing then. I was still mostly like masculine boy type thing. I was still kind of like, in that mentality of boys are boys. No cute clothes or nothing, right?
Yeah.
So.
I was
That's kind of where I was, and so I would buy mostly clothes like that
I
for a
actually
long
wanted
time.
to ask you, so yeah, you just said like you weren't always like a femboy. Now you're the leader of the femboy army, which is interesting.
Mm.
When did VR chat help you embrace your femininity and like did you become a femboy
It
after VR chat or was it actually before you started playing?
it was like through in high school I'd kind of learned
Okay.
more about myself in terms of my sexuality. I just couldn't be open about it because of my household and stuff. But I learned
Right.
I was pansexual, right? I thought about things from like my past and growing up and how I'd like always been kind of keen on experimenting and how most of my life, right? Like I was raised around women. Like one of my best friends growing up was a girl, and anytime I visited her place, we would do what would be considered girl stuff, like playing with Barbie dolls, playing house, and like dress up and stuff like that. Right? And it was fun. Like I enjoyed those things, right? And the only reason I was still so stuck in the whole like boys are boys thing is because my parents, right? Like
Mhm.
my mom specifically, right? Like if anything ever happened, like if I cried, it'd be like, suck it up, right? You're boys don't
Oh,
cry. Things like that,
yeah.
right? The typical machismo thing.
Yeah.
And in high school I kind of started like reflecting back on some things and thinking about stuff, and I was like, I might actually be, because I didn't relate to a lot of the guys. Like they
Yeah.
all had like this like sex drive, and when they would like look at girls, they'd like fall head over heels, and I'd just be like, she's pretty and all, but like I don't know, right? Like and like I wasn't as bad as they were for things, and I was like maybe like the most like I would notice like if the girl was in like cute clothes, like I'd notice clothes and stuff first before the actual girl and things like that, right? And I started kind of learning like maybe I kind of am different from most guys, and after some time, right, through college and everything, because I didn't get into VR chat during my high school years. I got into it, I think, when I was like still going through college and stuff, and I was like, think like 23 or 24 when I finally got into it. Um, and so it was around that time where I was like, I had discovered a bunch of VRchat creators, and one of them being Artsy.
Mm.
Um, and Artsy 100% like before. when they were a femboy and now they go by she. But at that time, I would watch their streams and their YouTube videos, and they would talk about how, like how they were a femboy and so like that's how what they called themselves, right? And I was like, so boys can be this, right? Like boys, it's okay for boys to like there are other guys out there like this that have these interests, and I'm not the only one, right? And
Hmm.
so I kind of started exploring myself more through VR, and using more feminine avatars essentially, and just kind of through that, and here we are now with how now pretty much all of my avatars are either it's either a straight up like e-girl avatar or a femboy like type avatar. I don't ever really touch masculine models ever anymore. It's it's gotten to the point where if I do use a masculine model, like a mostly guy avatar, I've had friends say like it's very strange to see you in these avatars because you have these like effeminate movements and like poses, and it's weird to see these buff
Oh.
e-boy avatars move like that. Different. And I'm just like, you know what, you're right.
Oh.
I don't take it personally as like a bad thing. I think it's funny.
That's really cute.
Like, yeah, but
Oh.
it's basically VR chat definitely helped open me up a bit. And I do the same thing through my streams. I have people come into my chat sometimes asking like things about like like I don't think I'm a femboy, but I like this and that. It's like you don't have to label yourself as a femboy. Like, you
Yeah.
can be in tune with your feminine side and still be just a boy, right? Like it's okay
Right.
to do things and still be like the main thing is whether or not you're comfortable with who you are. It's not about labels. It's about being okay with yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see a point in labeling yourself if you don't want to. It's just, find out what you like and go from there. Find out where you're comfortable.
How would you that being said, I had this question and I don't really I guess well, I'll ask you. How would you define a femboy? And even though you say you're the
Um,
leader of the femboy army, do you actually associate with that term? Like, do you?
so the story behind that, I used to have random follower goals set on my stream. Like every time I hit a milestone, one of my first ones was like 100 followers, I'll drink water or something, right? Like it was like all these silly things. I ran out of ideas, and then
Yeah.
I just kind of left it as Femboy Army. Like one day I was just like, you know what? Yeah, there you go. So the empire grows with each new follower, essentially, right? I don't take that title seriously. I don't. And I hope most people don't actually think I'm the type to take that seriously. I just think it's a funny thing, if anything. Um, but to describe what a femboy is, I take it quite literally. Like you take the word femme, which is feminine, and then boy. Like it's just a feminine boy, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I see it at least. I don't see that you need to wear specific clothing. Like I have people say like, but I don't wear like thigh highs and stuff like that or whatever, or I don't have like the body type. It's like you don't need any of that to really, because again, labels don't matter. Label yourself as whatever you're
Mm-hmm.
comfortable with. But like to me, a femboy at the end of the day is not about so much the appearance, it's about like the attitude, the personality. Are you a feminine boy? You're a femboy. Like if you want to call yourself one, right? You don't have to wear the clothes or look like one. It's just, are you okay with calling yourself a femboy? If you're a feminine boy, go for it, right? You know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody, well, most of the people on the internet will probably tell you you have to wear thigh highs and have the physique,
No, you don't.
but like, I don't know. I
You
disagree. You don't
don't.
have to.
No.
It's just all about, you know, what you're comfortable with at the end of the day. Because I know some boys through like high school and stuff who were definitely more feminine, but they didn't really dress that way, and they partook in what you would consider to be like the more masculine stuff like football and stuff and like
Mm-hmm.
soccer, and were like that, but like they were very like emotional and in touch with more in tune with their like feminine side, if anything too, right? Like they didn't fully act like the dude bro, but they still participated and didn't necessarily look like a fem. Like they were buff dudes, right? But like they still were, they weren't like a dude bro is what I call it, right? Basically like that, like the
Yeah.
opposite of what a femboy would be. So would they call themselves femboys? Probably not, but like I would
Yeah.
see them as that, right? Like a feminine boy.
Do you think? For whatever reason, do you think like being a feminine boy, I think it's getting more accepted now in the mainstream
It
and just in culture, but I
yeah.
feel like it's generally frowned upon, or at least it was when I was growing up, like in high school locker rooms or
Mm.
whatever. Like, you'd have to try to at
Oh
least
god.
pretend to be like a macho guy
Yeah.
or say, like,
Yeah.
you know, um,
Yeah, no, I definitely don't act the way I do online in public, like in with other people, because
mm,
I know for a fact like most people in like out there don't know how to really react to that or would really accept it,
yeah,
right? So I kind of keep it behind closed doors.
yeah,
Yeah, so out in public, I don't even like I tell my chat this all the time. Like this is like my like online voice, like my stream voice. And then if I lower it a bit, it's gotten to a point now where I have to kind of clear my throat if I've been talking in it for a long time. But like more down here is how I talk out in public, like with other people, because this is my actual voice, like for the most part. And then the voice that I use on stream is me wanting to sound more feminine because that's, you know, I'm more comfortable that way, I guess,
yeah.
on stream. So I talk more like up here. I just kind of soften the voice up a
Aww. So I was just like thrown for a loop just now. I don't think I've heard you talk in that
bit. Yeah,
voice for
no,
an extended period of time before. But
it,
it's
it
still
throws a lot of people
you.
out of the loop. Yeah, it's still me. That's the
Yeah.
thing, right?
Hmm.
Like a lot of people are surprised by my vocal range. They don't realize that
You have a very
uh
large vocal range, or very. Yeah.
yeah, it's because I did want to be a voice actor at one point, but
Oh,
then I
really?
lacked the acting skill.
I don't know. I mean,
Right.
you do role plays and stuff, and I've always considered role playing to be a form of acting. Like,
It is, but like I wouldn't like call myself like a good actor though. Like I don't know. Because the most RP I've done right
mm-hmm,
now is on my streams I did like a date RP thing.
mm-hmm,
The Maid Cafe streams are kind of like an RP type of thing in some way too, but not too heavily. But I did a date stream and I created a character on my stream called Catherine. Um, that was more of like RP based essentially. Like that was probably the most RP I did, and that character is the reason I like. I don't know. I don't see it too much as acting is because Catherine specifically, for me, isn't so much like a new character or like something that I'm like a made up character. Catherine is essentially like a callback to how I was at one point, right?
mm-hmm.
It's kind of I told a few people this because they were worried about me after the stream with how I was acting and talking on stream in character, and I was like, no, it's fine. It's what I call like a coping character to some extent because I made Catherine to kind of represent the myself from the past and to some extent like how I was a lot more quiet, reserved, anxious all the time, afraid to make mistakes and things like that or offend people, right? And also to kind of embody how I imagine my friends feel when I'm not around all the time, right? Because I'm not as around as I used to be, right? And I have a lot of people who kind of have voiced that they do miss me anytime they see me, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm so all over the place. And so Catherine is a character that I made that in universe, like, you know, Catherine and Kitty are two separate things. Um, right? And Catherine kind of misses Kitty. Catherine is a character that has interacted with Kitty, is a friend of Kitty's, but doesn't get to see him very often, right? And so she's kind of like locked up in her room just waiting for the next time to see him again, essentially.
Oh.
So, yeah.
And that,
And so
and
people took that and got like worried for a bit. And I was like, no, no, it's okay. I promise. There's no, like, I'm not sad or anything, or there's nothing more to it. It's just a character that I created because I thought it would be fun to start getting into things like this and kind of break away so much from, because I love talking to my chat, but I want to try new things as
sure.
well, right? I want to figure out new ways to potentially entertain people. And people liked it. People genuinely found the characters super cute and like interesting and are kind of waiting for the next part, I guess. So, and there is a highlight on my Twitch as well that you can go watch. I made sure to highlight it as its own thing so the VOD doesn't like go away. If anybody wants to go see that at any point.
Would you
But it
ever
was super fun.
would you ever act in something though? Like if there was like a VR movie or something like
Um,
that or
I wouldn't mind it, but I hope that the bar is set low and they don't expect me to like do anything like really amazing or profound. Like the most I think I could probably get away with doing is like maybe offering my voice to some extent. Because
yeah.
again, like I remember the one deep voice that I can do threw off a lot of people. Some like I was playing this one game, I forget what it was called, but it was like a rhythm game, and there's no voice acting in it. But I did like what I call like the deep narrator voice, and people thought it was like in-game like voice. And oh man, if I could, I've been talking in this voice for so long, it's harder to like get down
Yeah,
there again.
no.
But it's if I go down here somewhere ish, oh my God, it's so hard. Um, and talk more or less down here in a bit of an accent, I kind of it's not gonna sound as good because I've been talking in the other
No, it
voice
sounds
for so
great.
long. But and I would read lines out in the game like this, like once upon a time or whatever the heck, and
Hmm.
and people were like, "Wait, that was you?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's me." I guess because I added some reverb as well, since I have like an audio mixer on my
Mm.
for my desk mic, they probably were like, "What the heck?" You know. But yeah, I wouldn't mind. I just hope they don't expect a lot of me if I ever got called upon to do anything.
Well, I just think you have like such a sweet and sincere demeanor. You're very and I don't know. The acting
Mm.
doesn't have to be so like over the top and like I don't know, like
Oh
some
yeah,
crazy
no.
character that you're not. It's just I don't know. Well,
Yeah, no, it's more so I'm awful at like there's a difference between me just being me and then somebody giving me like here's a line,
here's a
right?
line
Like we
and
still
say
want
that.
you to yeah, right? Like
That's
still be
fair.
you, but like read this line and it's like now I feel a little more awkward or like forced to some extent, right? So
Yeah, that's fair.
right.
I think you'd be good
Mhm.
at it though. That's all I'm saying.
I'd I'd hope so if anybody ever wants to see me do anything like that, I guess.
Um, so I have a couple questions, and if you don't feel comfortable talking about it, you don't. Just let me know.
It's okay. I'm an open book.
You're an
I'll
open
talk
book.
about
Okay.
almost anything. Yeah.
One of the things I've been talking about with people when I do interviews with them is that just the subject of love and love specifically in
Mm.
VR. We can talk about love
Yeah.
outside of VR too, but have you? And I feel like I maybe know the answer to this question, but have you ever
Mm.
fallen in love in VR before, or like dated anyone in VR?
Um, yes, and I currently still am.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, and the crazy thing about it is I wasn't even looking for a relationship. Like
Hmm.
I had essentially not necessarily given up, but I was like, I don't think I really want one right now, or I don't necessarily want to look for one. And then I met Ripples or Riley, as I call her, but there's like a bunch of Rileys now that are probably out there. So Ripples is how I'll call her, just so people don't get confused if they know her. We met one day when I was streaming this one of the new Huggies maps. I don't know if you know Huggies, like the VRchat
Mm-mm.
horror map series, but a
Okay.
new one had just released, and I got invited to be one of the first players on it, essentially, like to test it out. And she was a part of the group of people that were there to test the map and stuff. And after like 9, almost 10 hours of going through that map, um, I ended my stream and we just kind of sat in the world and talked and stuff with like those of us that stuck around after playing the map. We became friends. We talked like here and there, like every time I got in VR and stuff. And like over time, it just kind of happened. Like it just naturally, like,
Mm.
it's like, I don't know. It's like, I tell people this all the time in my streams because I get people who come into my chats and they're like, I'll be alone forever, women
No.
bad or whatever, right? And
Yeah.
stuff like that. And it's like, don't don't say that just because maybe you've been looking for it and failing at it, right? Because like chances are in
Sure.
relationships, it's if you try and force anything or go into it with mentalities of like I'm gonna get a girlfriend by going here and talking to these girls, it's not gonna happen the way you think it does.
Generally doesn't work
It's not like a
that
movie.
way.
Yeah, it's not like a Disney movie or anything where it's like,
Yeah.
you show up, make yourself look all pretty and stuff and like try and smooth talk you. Like it's not gonna happen. Most girls aren't like that, right?
Yeah.
There's no, I don't believe there's such a thing as love at first sight, but
Mm-hmm.
it can be. I think it's a rare case, so, but like it happens naturally. And that's what I tell everyone is like when I met my girlfriend in VR, I had no idea what she looked like. She didn't know what I looked like. We just had our personalities to go off of and just conversation, right? And that's how relationships should just kind of happen is through conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
You talk and maybe you have a lot of things in common and then maybe at one point you both mutually find out like I like you more than just a friend, right?
Yeah.
So,
I
yeah, like
definitely. Do you think? Do you think like relationships should definitely start from there? Like, I think you should definitely be friends. First.
yes,
Like,
the friend part is important.
yeah, because I feel like there's such a
Yeah.
negative connotation to like getting
Yeah, the
quote
friend
unquote friend
zone.
zoned,
Yeah.
but I think
Mm.
I don't think that's a bad thing. Like I think
No, it's
people
not.
don't you want to be friends with someone first
Yeah,
before like
like
before you go into a relationship with them? Like I don't.
And I tell my chat like the stories of like how I went into college with that expectation of like because I tried to get girls' numbers in college. Like I tried that because I went to an all-guys school, right? So I was like,
Oh.
finally I can like interact with non-guys, right?
Mhm.
I can finally be like around girls and stuff. And so
Yeah.
um I went in with that mentality of like get a girl's number and like finally get my mom off my back about not being in a relationship or something, right? So
Yeah.
almost every girl I talked to, I went in with the intention of like number, relationship, romance, right? When that was probably not the best
Oh.
idea, right?
Yeah.
I
Right.
definitely put off some girls for sure. And it sucked. It hurt, right? Like I still remember one of the worst feelings was like texting a girl after I'd gotten her number, but it felt like she definitely gave it to me because she felt bad for me or something, right? Because I texted her later that
Yeah.
night being like, "Hey, what's up?" And she was very dismissive in her replies as if she didn't want to talk to me. And I was like, yeah, this is kind of a sign that I definitely went about this the wrong way. And so I stopped. I stopped doing that. Now after that I just kind of talked to people just because we were in the same class and we had a similar interest, right? And then if
Yeah.
something happened, it happened, right? But nothing really did until I got into VR and I met my now girlfriend who I love to the moon and back.
Oh. And you two are so genuinely so cute and so sweet. I love seeing you two interact. There's definitely
Mm.
real love there. I was just thinking that like every time I feel like I've only given my number to a girl like randomly, like a stranger, like one time, and I was so embarrassed.
Mm.
It was like at a restaurant, and she was like a waitress, and like I literally
Mm.
tripped over like a wire or something, and like I was like I don't even remember what I said. It's like here's my number or something, and like never again did I ever do that. I think
Yeah.
what you're saying is right though. Like don't talk to people with the expectation of immediately being in an
Yeah,
intimate
no, and
sexual
this goes both
relationship with
ways,
them.
right? This is for
Right.
guys and girls. It's not mutually exclusive to just guys, right? Like this is just anyone in general. Don't go in with that expectation of relationship, you
Yeah.
know? It's become friends first. And like, so what if you don't end up falling for each other? At least you've got a
Yeah.
cool new friend
I was
to
just
do
thinking
stuff
that. Yeah.
with,
I mean,
right?
like
Like,
you can only date so many people, but like having a close friend is like so meaningful, and it's
yeah.
so
And
nice
if
to have.
anything, if it's especially if it's a friend of the opposite sex, they've got insider knowledge for you. Like you
True.
can kind of use that to your advantage to some extent, right?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
like they can give you advice on things. Like I wish I had known a girl to give me advice before I did the things I did in college to tell me
Same.
that's not how you talk to girls, right? Like I wish I had that, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't. You know, most of my friends were guys, and they were the kind to be like, "Yeah, go do that. You know, you get that.
Yeah,
Get those
yeah,
numbers." You know, like
terrible
they,
advice.
right? Like,
Yeah.
because they were like that. Like most of my guy friends were like that. Like, yo, you talk to a girl, get that. You know, like, God, like get her number, dude. Like, you know, instead of being like, wait, hold on, slow down. That you might come off as weird or pushy or creepy,
Yeah,
even, right?
right.
Whereas if I had a girl tell me that, like, you know, maybe things would have been different.
I think girls have like this that word specifically, this like creepy radar on at all
I feel like
times.
they do. They
Like
definitely have spidey senses in
they
regard to
do. You
that for
just
sure.
and she's like
Like,
just walking around, and then suddenly a guy like walks up to her. It's like immediately like
yeah, immediate
alarms
red
go
flags.
off. Like
And I still feel so bad about like I guess giving off those vibes to the one girl specifically. The other girls, I guess, didn't read me that way and just kind of treated me as like a friend. I was like, okay, that's fine. But like, there's that one girl specifically, the one that I texted that I wish I could say sorry to.
oh, me
I
too.
don't have her number
Actually, I'm
anymore, but
sorry.
oh my gosh, I wish I could have told her like, I'm so sorry for being that way.
Oh,
I remember the last time I saw her was we
yeah.
walked past each other on campus once, and I just waved.
Oh.
I did- she waved back at least, but like I knew that like you know there's definitely nothing happening there, no friendship, no nothing, just awkwardness between two people that just started off with a very terrible interaction, honestly. God.
So you've been dating Rebels for like 2 years now? Like did you
Yeah,
meet her right when you
two
got into
years.
VRchat? Like was it pretty shortly
Um,
after?
it was within the few months of me getting into VR. Yeah, it was within a few months. Not right away. I think it was around October. It was toward the end of the year, me getting into VR. So, it was just before 2020, if I remember correctly. Um, because it was after the Huggy stuff, which was around Halloween. Like it was around that October time, I think. Um, she might be better at the dates thing than I am. Maybe I'm pretty bad at dates. But I'm pretty sure it was around like October of 2019. Um, so it was nice, you know. I just remember one day we were hanging out in a world. It was called Koga's Kickback. That was like our favorite hangout world with a bunch of friends. And
Mm-hmm.
there's like a little room that you can go into and lock from the inside. And she ran in there, and then I ran in after her. And then I remember I locked the door behind me. And in my head, I was like, if I'm gonna say something, it has to be now. Because this was like, I think after like 2 weeks of like talking like nonstop to each other and stuff. And I'd finally like set in of like, you know, like I do like this girl more than just a friend, right? And so
Mm.
I walked up to her and I was like, hey, talked for a little bit. And then at one point I just said, I like you. Um,
Mm.
and I was wondering if maybe you liked me too, you know, or something along those lines. And she said yes, and then the rest is history.
Mm. It's really sweet. Um,
I actually still have the avatar that I confessed her, and I keep the avatar favorited, the public avatar that I found. Because we used to have kind of matching avatars.
yeah.
Um, yeah, and I still have it favorited. Hers got deleted, but she found the base that looked eerily similar not too long ago, to the original. And I saw pictures of us in VR chat, with the avatar saved as well. So it used to be my phone lock screen at one point.
Oh, that's so sweet. Um, I also just want to. I know I said I wouldn't check chat, but thank you,
It's
Fia.
fine. It's fine.
Thank you so much for the raid. I will make an exception because Fia raided me, and I don't. That's a
Oh,
lot of people. Hi everyone,
is
my
it?
name's O Girls, and
Mm-mm.
we're doing an interview with my lovely, lovely friend KittyDVR. Guys, if you
Hello.
haven't followed Fia Bunny, she's one of the sweetest, most adorable, and funniest, and helpful and informative people on YouTube and on
Yeah,
Twitch. I feel
she's
like,
actually one of the ways I got about like getting into VR in the first place
right?
as well. I
Like
remember,
she's,
yeah, the virtual reality show. I remember
yeah, the
that's
virtual
it was
reality show.
her and
Really.
Thrill Seeker that and I I preach what Thrill Seeker says in his videos all the time to my own viewers on my stream. Like whenever anybody comes in and says like, "What do you recommend?" I literally just paraphrase what I saw in like a Thrill Seeker video to them, and I even guide them over to Thrill Seeker. Like I'm like, if you need to like know more, like there's a channel called Thrill Seeker, right? Go subscribe to that. He talks every week, every Tuesday. There's something he talks about everything to do with VR. And I used to do the same with Via too. I would be like, if you want to learn more, or, like see cool videos about this stuff, right? Like there's these YouTubers that talk about it, and y'all should definitely check them out. It's really cool. It definitely got me super interested into VR back when I was so a little hesitant on it, right? So, and I don't regret my decisions of getting into VR now. Like, my wallet probably hates me, but
Yeah.
but yeah.
Thea, I love you. Welcome. I'm gonna say hello to Mr.
Mm.
Caffeine, Dennis or Dennis Deuce VTube Ace Deuce Che Quattro, Do God Roxism. I'm just Mikani Q. That's a cute name. Kazurio Dutek. It's Courtney Cook. Welcome, you guys. My name's O'Curls, and I am not as cool as Fia. Fia's really cool. But I do like having very comfy streams, and I hope you guys can have a very comfy time here. Welcome, you guys. It's
Mm.
really lovely having you. Lately, I've been doing a lot of interviews with my content creator friends in VR. This is KittyDVR. They are an amazingly, amazingly sweet and cute person. They're an amazing singer and role player and conversationalist, and they really come to the streams too. Can
You
get
give
her.
me way too much credit,
Uh,
I feel.
it's true though. Like everyone who's in your community adores you. Like there's something about you that's very, and I think people are drawn to how sweet and like just genuine you are and sincere you are, and I don't know.
Mm.
It's you're a good person and a good friend.
Mm.
Fia probably left, but I love you, Fia. Thank you so much. I actually saw you the other day at the Squid Game collab, but I was too shy to say hi. But I
Oh
will say
yeah,
hi to
that
you
collab.
next time.
I would
But
have left so quickly if I were in your
I wanted
position
to
during
leave.
that.
I was so
Oh my
anxious.
goodness.
I was not having a great time, but I was because
It
you were
seems
in
so
chat.
unorganized and
Yeah,
just
well,
anxiety inducing. I would have been gone in a heartbeat.
yeah. Um, but anyway, if you guys haven't,
Mm.
thank you, by the way, Zed and Junie 31 for the follows. Uh, the fact that Kitty is nervy about being called loved is why folks do. I think that's part of it. That's just how genuine and like how adorable your reactions are. People love
Yeah,
getting a reaction out of you, whether it's sweet
I
or it's you
guess.
like being
Yeah,
like, no,
I'm the punching bag streamer.
no. I wouldn't say you're. I feel like
In more ways than
everyone,
one.
like every community
Well,
teases
yeah,
like
everyone
their
does, and that's why I bully
streamer.
my friends because I'm that kid that goes to school where it's like I get bullied at home, aka my stream, so I bully everyone else.
You do bully people. I see you bullying like Lay Marcel and others outside of stream. When I first met
It's out
Marcel,
of
you're
love
like,
though.
girls, call Marcel French. I'm like, I don't, what? I'm not going to bully your friend for
It's
you.
it's how I show my love. Like it's I don't know.
Hmm.
I'm
Do you and
it's
Ribbles
because
bully each other
I
like you and your girlfriend?
yes, that's kind
Yeah.
of how our relationship started. That's kind of how it began. It
Hmm.
was just kind of a lot of back and forth and stuff. Um, there still kind of is sometimes. Like I'll show up in her streams in her chat and like just I'll say one thing just to get her going and then she'll I'm a
I
terrible person.
You're not a terrible person. I think it's really great when you can meet someone that you can tease and you can like
Mm,
joke around with back and forth. I definitely
that's
my
what I
closest friends are definitely we
yeah.
bully each other in a loving way. I try not to push it too far,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, nothing at anyone's expense. I used to be like that, where jokes and things like that would be at people's expense, but I try not to do that anymore.
yeah.
I always let people know, like, if anything ever does, like, genuinely set, like, like set you off or anything. Like, please tell me. Like, I don't want to be that person again where like things would get out of hand and I didn't read that the person was like actually upset with me or something, and just kind of
Yeah.
pretend or not like they would just pretend they're okay and like deep down they hate like every second of like what I was doing or something,
Mm,
right? So
yeah.
I don't want to be that person. So I let everyone know, like, hey, I do this because I love you, and I won't go any further or try not to push any boundaries. Like with Riley DPS, like I call him dicks per second, right? And with Dichi, I bully him about like the lewd stuff or anything. With Squee, I just bully Squee in general, and like, Sopra, I call him French. Marcel, I call him French, even though he's not French.
I mean, Soper is French, isn't he?
Sopra is French. Yeah, he is
Oh.
French. That's why, and that's kind of like in the case with Sopra, it's like that's kind of why I bully him so much more about it because he actually is, right? Like, like I'll specifically at him do like the whole like ho we baguette, like the whole spiel. Whereas with Marcel, I just say French, like I
Yeah.
just I just point at him and go French. Like everyone has like a certain joke I give them essentially, and that's kind of, I guess, to dictate like whether or not I like you a lot or something. Like if I've given you something that I give you grief over, then that's kind of my sign of like affection. Like with you, I do the oludes and the shader
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair. And that's why I said I wouldn't bring it up, but that's why I do like the circle thing. On there's like a soundboard clip with Kitty where he said he was gonna get a boner or something, and I kept playing it over and over and
No, I
over.
I thought that was funny.
I'm
I
gonna
thought
get
that
a,
was
I'm gonna
great.
get a
Don't worry, I didn't.
boner. So
I didn't feel attacked or anything. Like Jenny, I thought I was
yeah.
laughing the whole time. Like it was great.
Is that something
Mm.
like? Because I know, like, I got it, I think, from my parents. Because my parents would always
I got it from
bully
my
me. You got
family.
it
I
from
got
your
it from my
family,
cousins.
too? Okay.
I got it from my cousins, not so much my parents. I was afraid to say anything to my parents with the with the
Oh,
way they were, but with my
yeah.
cousins and my aunts and uncles, like it was like free reign. Like everyone smack talked each other.
Yeah.
Like I had my two cousins that I absolutely love now. He would always, they were siblings, right? And he would, every time he saw his sister, he would look at her and he would just go, "Oh God, it's Fiona, like from Shrek, like coming." And I'm just like, man, I love that y'all can just do that, right? Like just kind
No.
of like bashy, and like same with like my aunt who was their mom would be like, like smack talk them and like friendly banter ways. And I was like, I'm envious. I can't do that at my house, so I started doing it with friends, right? Because I couldn't do it with my parents; they were too strict, right? But with my friends and stuff like online and in school, I kind of like adopted that same thing with my cousins too. So it's definitely rooted in family, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't just one day decide I was going to be a menace. It was definitely taught to me.
How are you doing? Do you need to, like, use the bathroom or anything? Are you okay? Like, are you
I'm
good?
good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
All
fine.
right, cool.
Yeah.
So you fell in love with Ripples. Did you have any other was she the first person that you fell in love with in VR? Did you have a crush on anyone before?
Yes,
Yes.
she
Okay.
was she was the one and only, for the most part. There were other people that I met that like I wouldn't say I was interested in, but I definitely like got close to, but never like to that extent. And
Mhm.
then she was the one where it's like, yeah, like this is like I remember talking to Sopra specifically. I was like, for some, I don't know what it is, but I think I do actually like her more than just anything else. Like more
Aw.
than in that way. Because I at first it was just a friendship. Like that's what I mentioned. It was like a friend thing. Right? I didn't think anything more of it. And then after like about a week and a half of like just nonstop hanging out, like staying up late in VR and hanging out and talking. Like one day I'd like sat down with Sopra and I was like, dude, I think I'm actually like catching feelings for her. I have no
Aw.
idea. Like, I don't know what's going on. I haven't felt this in
Yeah.
like years, right?
Yeah.
And so, and then after some time, I gave it like a week to like really like make sure it wasn't just like infatuate. That's another tip, right? That I give people a lot is like make sure it's not infatuation. Make sure that it's genuine because there is such a thing as like being infatuated with the other person and the idea of romance. And then when you do finally get into that position where romance happens, the infatuation kind of sets off and you realize like, oh God, like it this was a mistake, right? Because it's like that puppy love thing, right? Like you
Yeah.
see something that you think you really like. You get a new toy. I don't want to. I don't want to. Like, I kind of hate this analogy, but like you give a puppy a new toy, it falls in love with it like super quick, right? Gets super attached to it, but then after some time, right? Like maybe depending on what happens, the dog doesn't like get as excited by it anymore. The idea of the fact that it's a new toy, right? And it still plays with it, but it doesn't play with it the same way that it did when you give it to him, like the first like week and stuff, right? So
Yeah.
it's probably a bad analogy, but
Well, then you
kind
go with that
of,
analogy, but then they still have that toy that they love
yeah, they
all the
still have
time,
that
and they would
toy,
never
right?
give it
Yeah,
up. Like they love it so
yeah,
much.
right. Mm,
Yeah.
you know, so it's like it's one of those things you don't want to just dive right into a relationship just because you have that feeling. You give it some time, like let it sit for a bit. It might suck, but like let it sit and work your way through it. And then once you like really feel like you notice that it doesn't go away, like the butterflies kind of stick no matter what. And
Mm.
like, it's just shoot your shot. Worst thing that happens, they say no. And
No.
again, at the end of the day, you at least have a friend that like, that you've gotten to know. Because obviously, if you get to that point, y'all have talked a lot, right? If you start feeling
Hopefully.
butterflies when you're around that person, y'all have talked a lot, you know.
Yeah. Did
So,
you date anyone like in high school or in college or before
um,
VR or?
in high school, I did have and this is why I learned. This is why I tell everyone about like the infatuation thing whenever they ask for relationship advice, because I definitely got into something in high school that I still feel bad about. I dated a girl, and we went out for about like 6, 7 months. Um, and I remember it was around maybe like after the first like 3, almost 4 months that I was like, I don't know if I actually ended up if this is like a smart decision to get into a relationship because I started realizing that like those butterflies were kind of gone. That feeling that I had when I used to talk to her at the start was like slowly kind of leaving and stuff, and I was like, oh no, I think I I think I genuinely like made a mistake like diving into this, right? Because it happened really quick. Like it happened within the first few months of just like I don't I don't know, but I didn't want to tell her that I felt this way, so I led her on for a few extra months and I finally broke up with her,
No.
and it's still one of those things that sits with me of like I don't ever want to do that again to somebody,
Yeah.
because it didn't just hurt her, it hurt me. Like I remember
Right.
crying on the phone
Oh.
afterwards, like with her, because I felt like such like crap. Like I didn't feel good doing that for like an extra 3 to 4 months of like telling this girl that like yes I love you, I care about you so much, only for it to
Yeah.
not be the case, and yet she was being super genuine with me, right? So yeah, I definitely want to tell people like if you ever do like somebody, like make sure it is genuine and that's not just like the idea. Because for me, it was definitely the idea at that time of like, like she was really pretty. I thought she was funny and she was smart, right? But that's all she was funny, smart, and nothing more than that. It should have just stayed at friends and not
Yeah.
a romantic thing. And things ended off on a bad note. So.
How do you? This is such a difficult question to ask, but like, how do you think you differentiate between the two? Like, how do you know when you're in love with someone and it's more than just infatuation and it could develop into something healthy versus unhealthy? Do you just
For
know?
me,
Yeah.
yeah, for me it's like it's genuinely like a gut feeling. I can't speak for anyone else. But
Sure.
for me
Yeah.
like in my like with me and Riley with Red Bulls, right? Like
Mhm.
I gave it like a week. Like after I had acknowledged that like maybe I do like her more than a friend, I gave it like an extra week or two of like hanging out, talking and DMing and stuff, and it's like if at any point I didn't feel like goosebumps or butterflies while talking to her or just this like really like overwhelmingly like happy feeling of when I talked to her, right? Because the feelings I felt when I talked to her were very different to when I talked to any other friends, right? Like that's the first thing. Like I noticed that like
Mm.
I was definitely a lot more excited about seeing her
Aw.
than a lot of other people, right?
Yeah.
And that's not to say I don't love my friends, but like she was like,
Right.
the exception of like, oh my God, she's online. Um,
Right.
if that
Yeah.
feeling of like excitement ever died down a bit, if I didn't get like butterflies or anything, that's when I kind of was like, that's when I feel like, okay, it was probably just like the idea of like cool new friend, right? You have a lot in common, but that's about it, right? And maybe you're getting these feelings because of that, because it's like you're talking to somebody that has a lot in common with you, and you might not be used to that, or maybe you are. Everyone's different. I'm not used to, or I wasn't used to talking to a girl that had like a lot in common with me. I was used to guys, right? Because I
Mm-hmm.
went to an all-high school most of my life, right? But I was never used to a girl like liking the same music as me, liking the same like art styles and like things like that, like just a bunch of stuff that we ended up liking, the same shows, movies, and stuff, right? So it definitely took some time. I took my time with it. I didn't just dive in, I let it kind of blossom into what it was essentially.
Oh. Um. So sweet. Have you met Riley IRL yet? Do you
Not
plan to?
yet. I definitely plan to, yeah. Because the plan is to move to Washington with a bunch of friends, and she's one of the people that we're gonna move with. And if that doesn't
Oh.
happen, I still plan on meeting her at least, because we're in the same state. Like that's another thing.
Oh,
The
I didn't know
the odds
that.
of, yeah,
Okay.
it's just different cities.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it. So she's just a few hours away. But the plan is maybe Washington. If not, then I'll go out and like see her. Like I'll save up some money and just go out and see her myself if the move doesn't happen, right? So
So you're actually gonna move in with her right away, though there will be other people there.
there will be, yeah,
Okay.
basically.
Does
Mm.
that make you nervous at all?
It definitely does,
Yeah.
to some extent, yeah. But I'm more like I'm more so nervous about like making sure I have the ability and the finances more so than the
Mm-hmm.
than the um the relationship aspect, because I from my experience of meeting people that I've known for a really long time online IRL, it's always gone smoothly. Like it's gone smoothly. I can be myself and be just fine. So that's not like a problem for me. It's more so just like it's a move to Washington. It's a new state, right? It's like it's unfamiliar territory, which has me more nervous than that, right? If anything, I'm more excited to like meet her.
Oh.
The excitement kind of like overcame like the nerves. I was nervous at first, but I was like, wait, no, why should I be nervous? This is awesome, right? Like if it does happen, like this is wonderful that I finally get to meet not only like a bunch of friends, but like the girl that I've been dating for like almost 3 years, like in
Oh.
VR,
Yeah.
right?
It's okay to be nervous. I think sometimes being nervous
Yeah.
is exactly what you should be, and like it's a good kind
Yeah.
of nervous, right? You're excited.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
have you met anyone from VR yet, like IRL?
No, not from VR.
Mm-hmm.
But my old Gmod friend group, yes. Like the friend
Okay.
group where I met EO from. EO wasn't able to come because he was in a different state and he was younger back then too.
Sure.
When we all did it. But a lot of us that were from more the West Coast California area, and then one friend who came all the way from Kansas, we did meet up and we went to an anime expo together here in California,
Cool.
and just kind of hung out. And yeah, it was cool. It was fun. I have yet to have the chance to meet anyone in VR IRL, but it would be nice. That's kind of why I do want to try and go to the TwitchCon stuffs, at least here in San Diego. And then maybe one day, if I have the money, I would love to go to Amsterdam as well
Yeah.
and meet
Same.
everyone out there, right? Like I would absolutely love that. Like it'd be so cool. Because the only place I've traveled to outside of the US is where my family is in El Salvador. I've yet to go anywhere else. Um, so I'd love to kind of see what Europe has to offer as well. Maybe visit some things and stuff and, see the sights,
Yeah.
right? Not just the event.
You're going to TwitchCon this year, right?
I'm definitely gonna try to, yeah.
Okay.
Because we'll see if the move to Washington doesn't necessarily happen, then whatever money I have is definitely gonna go to TwitchCon, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'll be super close by at that point because I'll still be here in LA. Like I'll only be a few hours away from San Diego. So, and if the move to Washington happens, I'll have to plan it a bit more as to like, like when do I go? How much money should I set aside to make sure that I'll be able to, be there comfortably in San Diego, right? Because I don't think I have any family or anyone out there in San Diego.
Mm.
Um, I know I have most of my family's here in the city that lives here in the U.S. So
You're moving, I think you said, are they all like streamer friends, or are they all at least like
basically,
yeah,
yeah,
so it'll be kind of like
like Sopra and well, Squeeze sometimes streams. Sopra, I think he's planning on streaming for sure. Like he's getting all his stuff. Like trying to make like a proper VTuber debut. Ribble streams. Royal's like on and off a stream, but she definitely streams. She's also got her like live 2D debut coming up as well. And then I think out of all of us, I don't mean this in like in a bad way, but I think I've been the most consistent out of everyone. Everyone else, it's
mm-hmm.
like me, Ribbles, and then Royal, who were like the most consistent for a point, and Squeeze like just getting into it. And Sopra he took a break from it at one point because he used to stream. I remember I would always tell him like he should try again because he's funny. He's a funny dude. He's got a lot of energy. And so I feel like that personality attracts some people. I still have a clip saved of him when was doing one of his streams, and I remember it was one of the first times I'd like been interacting with him and learning that he streamed and he was making music, and it's of him getting up on his chair and then eating shit falling off of it. And I have that clip saved because it's one of my first ever interactions with Soap, and I was like, "Oh man,
Aww.
this man's great. I love him. He should actually do this more often. Like this is fun." So,
I see Soper in the chat right now.
Zinch. Sopra, I love
Bro, he's
you.
just exposing my ass. 2 years ago, bro.
Yeah, this was 2 years ago. If I want, I can expose him more. We met in a Nyanners Discord server. I don't know if you know who Nyanners is, but that's where we met
Kind of. I don't know. I don't know her
originally.
too well.
Yeah, big VTuber Discord server is where I met Sopra.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same with another friend of ours, Opti. Came from that community more or less as well. And yeah, we just kind of bonded. And then I remember the first ever interaction was us playing Minecraft. He had a Minecraft server. And I remember I was free one day and I was like, yes, I can finally like join in and play Minecraft. And it was fun. It was super chill. It was nice. And then, Sopra knew of my streams and stuff, and he would come in and hang out and stuff. And Sopra actually, dumb French man, threw a lot of subs at me as well at one point on one stream and gave me a lot of money.
I see you just called him a dumb French man for no reason
Yeah.
just now. What does that have to do with anything?
That's just how I talk
That
to him.
seemed like a really sweet thing to do, to
I think
donate
it's
subs to you.
yeah, it's sweet, but he shouldn't have done it because it's a lot of money. He gave me a lot of money for someone that was barely starting out, right? Like
Aw.
I don't know, I had, I, oh man, I'm very torn about getting donations and sub bombs and things like that on my stream
Yeah.
because it's like, it's wonderful that people want to support me, but it's like, I always feel it's like. I don't know if you struggle with this, but I struggle with the idea that I feel like I don't provide enough in
Mm-hmm.
terms of my content to justify people giving me so much. All I do is
Yeah.
sit in front of a camera and talk to people for the most part with occasional like streams that are themed around something or maybe a variety game here and there, but it's nothing that nobody else couldn't do. So I beat myself up a lot about it because it's like people are giving me so much money every now and again, and it's like I don't do anything
But you do
that anyone else
provide.
could, you know.
Yeah, but you provide such a comfy place for people to go, and I think people just. It's as simple as just wanting to support you because they care and love about you. It's like why do
Yeah.
you know like why does your mom buy you stuff? I mean, she doesn't have to, but she does because she loves you, right? And when people love you, they want to support you. And
Yeah.
I think do you have? I think I have it to an extent, but I know we've talked. Also, thank you for
Mm.
the 5 gifted subs. What the heck? Thank you, Glitch. Speaking of which, thank you. But yeah, it does. I still get. Oh, thank you so much. I know I said I wouldn't pay attention to chat, but I see
It's
people
fine. It's
being
okay.
really cute.
Yeah,
Um,
no, it's okay.
I Yeah, I do feel like, and I still do. Like even when people gift one sub, I'm like, thank you. Like
Yeah, no,
I
it's
deeply
like
appreciative of it.
I appreciate it a lot. Like it's not that I don't appreciate it. It's just like I feel like I owe something in return to some extent, right? I feel
Yeah.
because I it definitely ties into the fact that like imposter syndrome is a huge thing for me, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, a lot of the stuff that I do doesn't feel deserved. Like I don't know, I people will probably tell me otherwise and stuff, but it's like, um, it feels like any growth I've made or anything isn't inherently my own, but a lot of people will probably disagree and be like, no, it is you. But it's like, I don't know. I tend to think it a lot of what I got is from the fact that people see me in other communities and then maybe take interest in me and maybe don't, right? I feel
Yeah.
like if I just didn't know anybody like I did a long time ago, I'd probably still be in the same boat of like the 5 to 10 viewers, which a majority of them were people like Soper, like just my friends who were hanging out with me and having my stream in like the background, right? So it feels like a lot of what I have wasn't solely earned by myself, right? And
Yeah.
I know that's not the case. It's just always kind of like in the back of my mind as like a thought, right? And so, you know, I'm just not used to the idea that people do genuinely like me for me, essentially,
Oh,
because it's
I
it's a
do.
hard thing to grasp, essentially. I don't know.
No, I completely feel that because before VR and before streaming, I felt like I was completely alone, and I didn't have a
Yeah.
friend group that I truly felt like cared about me, and I mean,
Mm.
I had friends and stuff. I mean, I wasn't a complete loner or anything. Not that there's anything wrong with that, even. But like, I
Yeah,
didn't
no,
feel
there's nothing
like
wrong with it.
I didn't definitely didn't have a community of people like not throwing money, but like giving money to me. And I'm like, I still don't know
Yeah.
what to say. Like when someone drops you like a
Yeah,
hundo or
it's like
something, I'm like, wow,
I say it all the time where it's like thank you just doesn't feel like enough. I don't
right,
know. It feels like I need to do more for the people who, and it's not even just the people who throw money, it's just the people who show up. Like I feel like saying
right,
thank you to anybody who gives me any time of their day, like 'cause
yeah,
like time is something you don't get back at all. Like money, you'll make money back, right? Like you'll
right,
get that back working your job, but you're giving me like time out of your day and like watching me, and it's like I can never give you that back, and so I hope that the time you do give me is time well spent, right? Because otherwise I feel bad, right? Like to some extent, you know.
yeah,
And so I think you
and
never feels enough for things like that, right? Because you'll never
no.
get those 5 hours back that you spent with me. You know, that's done. You spent 5 hours with me, like I
But
took
that's
that. That's mine now.
but people are happy to. I mean, I've never watched your stream and was like, oh man, I just wasted 5 hours of my life. Fucking kitty DVR. God
I
damn it.
there were streams where I would literally start it up and just stare at the camera and have like a song playing on loop, and then I'd be like, "Y'all sat there for an hour just watching me stare at the camera saying nothing.
Yeah.
Why are y'all here?" Like,
Nobody. No, I'm just trying to think because nobody spends well, by their own choice. Nobody by their own choice will spend time watching a stream or doing something if they don't like it because there's so many different options, like so.
oh
And
yeah, no,
I
it's
get
I
that though.
definitely
It's like,
get
and
that.
you chose
Mm.
my channel
Yeah,
or
like
like it's
it's especially that way with whenever I don't know if you view Prime subs the same way I do, but like anytime someone gives me a Prime sub, I view that not necessarily like more valuable, but like in a sense where it's like a Prime sub is technically a free sub to whatever. And so when someone gives me their Prime, it's like you could have gotten a sub to any really big channel with like, because at the end
yeah,
of the day, most people sub to support you and for emotes, right?
yeah,
Like you could go sub to anyone else who's got like 50, 60 emotes, big partnered streamer, have a variety of emotes to use in like anyone's chat, but you chose to give it to me and my small like 5 emote having like streamer like
Aw.
self, right? Like it feels like you're not getting your prime's worth to me, at least. I don't know, right? Like, there's a lot that I feel
No.
is like, it sucks that I think this way. I wish
I
I
don't,
didn't,
but
but
I'm just thinking that like I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing. Maybe it
it's
can turn
not.
bad when you like are too down on yourself, but I think being thankful and always feeling like having that feeling of, hey, I want to better my stream and better myself as a person and do more stuff for your
Yeah.
community. A good I think that's a good thing to have, because on the flip side, I'm sure you've seen streamers who like are not
Oh
naming names
yeah.
are so full of themselves where they're like, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
get, I deserve all
Mm,
these subs, and like they don't, because I feel like maybe
yeah.
some people don't even really try that hard, and they like, they get thousands of subs or
Mm,
whatever, and to them it's like they're so,
yeah.
they don't care. It's like it's
Mm,
not as cool to them anymore, whatever it is. Like, I think it's good
mm,
to be thankful. It's hard to draw that line, and I know like
yeah.
it sucks because I kind of have imposter syndrome too, to a degree, where I'm constantly feeling like I
Mm.
need to like
Like you need to
get
up your game
better.
or something
Right.
to some extent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of why I'm trying to do other things too, like in terms of like the streaming stuff. Like again, like offering like the date stream, like RP stuff, or like making character personas for the stream to kind of do um just something different, right? Like offer something new rather than just me talking at people, right? Like because again, like the talking thing anybody can really do as long as you have something to say. I feel because I get compared to a lot of people sometimes, and stuff that like anybody else can really like do what I do essentially, right? Like it's not that hard. I remember this is probably like a big reason, and like this isn't like to like be mean about it or anything, but I remember at one point a lot of people, when I first started doing the whole like just kind of sitting in a world by myself and talking to people, and I finally got like one of my own booth models that I kind of like really liked. A lot of people compared me to Lulu because I use the same base that Lulu used to use, the little blue-haired fox
Mm-hmm.
model that he used to have.
Mm-hmm.
I use the same base, but I put on like little robotic cat ears on it and stuff, and the power button eyes that I still have now. Right, and I had a few people come in and be like, "Oh, hi, like Lulu," or something like that, and I was like, "What?" And as a smaller streamer, I feel like I'm probably not the only person. If you've ever been compared to bigger streamers or called like a clone to like a bigger streamer compared to in that way, it it doesn't necessarily empower the streamer. If anything, it kind
Yeah,
of makes them like I remember so many streams whenever
interesting.
that did happen,
Mm-hmm.
right? I would just kind of whatever energy I had would just kind of dip slightly, right? Because it's like,
No.
oh,
Yeah.
I guess I'm just a copy or
I'm
something,
just
I
a
guess. I
worse
don't know.
Lulu.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like a worse anything. Like
Yeah.
if you compare me to anyone, it's like
You're not.
especially if they're
Yeah.
bigger, it
No.
feels like that. If you're just calling me like,
I know. Yeah.
right? Like I don't know. Saying that maybe I have similarities, that's fine, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I've been told that I sound like him, that's fine. I don't take that as anything else, right? Like that's okay, right? Um, or that my model like is it the same model? Like I'll have the questions of like is it the same base or anything. It's like yeah, it is the same base. But just being told straight up like you know you look like a Lulu clone or something. It's like well,
That word
uh,
specifically is hurtful. A
yeah, like
clone, like a
clone,
clone. That's
yeah,
not. No.
and stuff, or like budget whatever, so. But
Budget. Someone call you a
yeah, budget.
budget Lulu? Oh no.
That's what I call myself now anytime, just to kind of I
No.
guess make it my own thing if anybody says that where it's like, yep, it's me, Budget Lulu, hi, or
No.
whatever. It's just to make it
No.
more fun. That way I don't take it so personally. Because if I laugh at myself,
No.
then it's better than just kind of I guess being belittled or something. I don't know. I don't know what the
No, you're
proper word to use
good.
there is, but
I was gonna make a
But I
joke
love
that I
Lulu. Like I
probably
genuinely
shouldn't
love
make.
Lulu. It's fine. I love
It
Lulu.
wasn't. I was gonna say
It
you're a
was
good
really
boyfriend.
Oh gosh.
um,
But no, I love Lulu, like genuinely. He's
I
been
love
super, him
Lulu
and Bonji
too.
and Oni and all them and Lumi even too. Like basically all the Bellflowers are like super sweet to me
Oh,
at one
they're
point. So
amazing. They've always
they
been so
are.
kind to
Yeah.
me, all of them.
Mm. Yeah, and so I try my best to return the kindness to some
Yeah.
extent for all of them, especially with Lulu, because I don't know, it. I still, I still found it interesting, like kind of off topic to things, but like the day he raided me, I went back to watch his stream to see like what reason he had behind it, and he had no other reason other than he just recognized my name from typing in his chat,
Hmm.
and I thought to me that just seemed like really sweet in some way because it's like I guess he really just pays attention to people to some extent, right? You know? And I genuinely appreciated that from that day forth and I got to
Oh,
finally meet him in game and it's been fun hanging out with him here and
yeah.
there and you know,
He's he's
getting
wonderful.
getting to befriend somebody that you kind of like I guess took some inspiration from and looked up to is like really nice. It's a nice feeling.
It
It's like
is a
when I
good
met Artsy for the
feeling.
first
I
time.
was just gonna I was just gonna
Mm,
mention her. I don't hang
yeah.
out with her a lot anymore, but when I first met
No, I
her,
haven't hung out with Artsy too much either.
yeah, I just had that feeling like, oh man, this is so cool. I was really happy.
Yeah. Mm.
Um, because I had a similar when you described her as like back when she identified as a femboy, just being like, oh, so it's okay to like be
Yeah.
like
Mm.
this,
Like
like
that eureka or like aha moment of like,
you're like, oh,
oh,
this is actually
like
fine, and
yeah,
this is
like
like
this is a
celebrated
norm,
here.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why I like the VR chat community so much. I talk about this all the time where it's
Mhm.
like it's you won't be judged here, right? Like I'm not
Right.
gonna
Yeah.
judge somebody for being a certain way because like it's such a broad community with so many likes and interests, right? You know, you have the looter sides of VR chat, the wholesome sides, the middle grounds, right? And no matter
Yeah.
what, everyone there's like such a spectrum in within each category of VR chat, whether it's like the wholesome, the middle ground, or the lead. There's so many. It's diverse in whichever aspect you find in VR chat, and like you'll always find people that you kind of relate to some extent, right? There's always that one group that you feel like you really belong in, no matter what. And
Yeah.
that's the wonderful part about it all, is it's, you know, it's for a lot of us, this is like our social life. This is our where we have our friends, right? Like this is home to some extent, right? You know, it's our way to kind of get away from what the outside world has, right?
Yeah.
So,
Definitely. It's such a safe space to explore anything. Not, I mean,
mm,
gender identity and sexuality, but
yeah.
also just like being able to meet so many people. Like it's so difficult
Mm-hmm.
to just meet
Yeah.
anyone
Like,
IRL.
mm-hmm. And not only that, but meet so many people from different parts of the world that you normally
Right.
wouldn't really get to,
Yeah.
right? Like, I have so many friends that are in the EU and like
Mhm.
different parts of the EU, and then just, you know, some parts of Latin America or whatever that like, you know, or Canada even, like so many different parts. And it's like, I love all of them like so much. Like, and I hope that someday I do get to not only give them more time to get closer with them, but to meet them as well in person, you know? So
Yeah. And
it'd be really nice.
I always think like even if I were to travel the world and like say go to Germany or go to Amsterdam, I would not
Mm.
be able to make friends like in VR chat. Like it'd
You
be
wouldn't
so
know. You
hard.
try and strike a conversation with somebody in Germany just out of the blue, like they'd probably look at you weird, like because in VR chat you can go to like a black cat or like a pug, and
Mhm.
like just kind of depending on the instance, because obviously there's some instances are better than others, but you can strike up a conversation with somebody just off the blue, like just be like, hey, what's up, right?
Mhm.
You do that with
Yeah.
most people now, no matter what part of the world, they kind of give you like the shady eyes, like, huh,
Yeah,
why are you
like
up here talking to me, right? Like, huh?
yeah.
Like, are you
Yeah.
trying to sell me something? Jehovah's Witness? Like, what are you? You
Yeah.
know? Like, what are you selling, essentially? Whereas in VR chat, there's none of that. It's just, oh, hi, how are you? You know, what's up? Hi,
Yeah.
right? like I like your avatar. Oh, thanks. I like yours too, and then it
Hmm.
just kind of goes on from there, right?
It's really great because, like, how do you meet people? It's through, usually one of the best ways is just through common interest, and
Mm.
everyone in VRchat has at least one common interest, which is VRchat.
Which is, yeah, being in VR, like VR itself is basically the common interest because either meet someone in desktop who wants to get VR, or
Hmm.
you meet someone in VR who's looking to maybe upgrade their setup to be even better for like more VR stuff, right? Like no matter what, like it gets me when people say that there's like they don't know what to talk about, and it's like talk about VR or something like that. We all have that in common, right? Like there's a bunch of new things in VR coming out. Like I'm sure like one of your friends or someone over there probably knows about like the fact that Tundra's going like open to like sell things on the 10th, right? Or like
Hmm.
maybe that person over there knows about like, a certain headset or something that they want to buy, right? Like there's something everywhere if you don't know what to talk about, right? In VR chat, because that's the one huge common interest is the fact that we all play VR chat and have VR for the most part, right? It's just there's always something to talk about.
This is such a random question, but what's something really cute that you like about Rebels?
Um, Anytime I say anything to her that's like a compliment, the way she gets all squeaky and goes like, no, no,
Oh,
no,
that is
like
so cute when she
that.
does that.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's great. I
You
love
guys
it.
laugh a lot together that I see, and I always
Mm,
think like couples that laugh together are in a good place, at least. Yeah.
yeah. Or like the other thing too is the way she like screams no, like she screeches no whenever I say anything
No.
to her, and it's great.
She just wrote no in the chat.
That's I can hear it. Like it's one of those things that you
Yeah.
hear 100%.
Yeah.
Like it's like how whenever I see like your obols shake or anything, like I hear that. Like
Bullshit.
if I see the all caps no, I can hear it in Riley's voice.
Yeah. Aw. I just wanted to ask you because I knew she was in chat. Because I
Oh my
genuinely think you
gosh.
you two are so adorable, and I'm
Mm.
very fascinated with love and love in VR specifically lately. And do you know, this is a really hard question, I think, but like
Hmm.
I forget, like, is there a difference between love in VR and love IRL?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
If anything, sorry, my throat's getting a little
No,
scratchy.
you're good. Let me drink some
Um,
water. Do you have water? I mean,
yeah, I
water.
should get some,
Yeah.
but
You're so cute,
let me see.
Ripples.
Where's my water bottle at? I think if anything, um, the idea of like, cause I'm pansexual. I'm more focused on personality than appearance,
Yeah.
and so for me, the wonders of like online dating, at least in terms of like not your typical like definition of online dating, which would be like dating apps, but like actual like online dating and not really seeing the physical body is you have nothing to work on other than conversation, right? Like there's no appearance influencing like whether like your interest in talking to this person, right? Because in real life, when you talk to somebody, right, regardless of what you identify sexually, right, bisexual, pan, straight, gay, like whatever, right, the first thing you notice in somebody is the appearance, right? Whether it's like the shirt they're wearing, their face, their eyes, the hair, something, you notice something right away. You don't get that in VR chat. VR chat, maybe you'll notice a model, right? But like
Yeah.
there's plenty of really cool models out there. It's not like an uncommon thing, right? So when you get to talking to somebody, right, that's it. You get to learn about them and who they are as a person, right? Conversations, and I think again, like the beauty of online stuff is that you have kind of I feel like everybody just feels more open to like
Mhm.
talking about whatever, right? Because the way I say it to people is like you're not gonna see this person at school tomorrow. You're not gonna see them at work. They don't go to where you work. They know
Oh
nothing
yeah.
about your outside life, right? You can tell
Yeah.
them anything and be super open to them and know that they will not follow you in your personal life for the most part, right? Like they will not see you the next day, right?
Yeah.
Especially if it's like a one-time conversation and maybe you don't make friends with that person, right? And so you can be so much more open and so much more expressive. Like I say I'm an open book because I don't I mean in person I wouldn't mind being this open with close friends either, but like I'm online, right? Like whatever I say on stream or do on stream isn't gonna follow me to any other place that I go to because no one's gonna know about that I meet in public, right? So I can be as open as I want, right? And that's the
Mm-hmm.
thing about like in relationships when you talk to somebody you're interested in, you can be yourself genuinely 100% and not hide anything, and vice versa. They might not hide too many things as well, depending on their view on things, right? Like, and it's you establish, in my opinion, a better connection that way, because when you go on a date for the first time or meet up with somebody from like a dating app, right? You kind of act in the way to impress the other person,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you try to dress up real nice, you try and like smell good and everything, right? Like you do all this stuff to kind of sell yourself.
Yeah.
You can't do that in VR chat. You can't really sell yourself. You just have your personality and your words, right?
Right.
You don't have anything else working for you. So,
Yeah.
I think if anything, it's better
It's so much
to talk to
better
people
in
like
that
this.
regard. I was just thinking, I don't know
It
if you've ever
is.
used like Tinder or online dating apps, but
No,
they've are
I I
they
hated
make
the
me
idea of that
miserable.
stuff.
I hate that stuff. I hate
Yeah.
the idea of selling yourself and like writing like
hmm
a resume or
Yeah. No,
something,
it's
right? And like
awful.
trying to look your best, you know, and
Yeah.
like you don't have to worry about that stuff in VR. It is all you.
Yeah. And not
Um,
only that, but if the relationship becomes something super serious, like who cares if you have abs today? When you're 60, you're not gonna have those same abs or anything, right? Like,
true.
you
Yeah.
know, you're not gonna maintain that same appearance forever. That's why I don't fixate on that stuff too much, right? Like,
Yeah.
I I find what's on the inside to be the most beautiful part. And one of my teachers in high school like phrased this in the funniest way that I still love to repeat to people, right? You can polish a turd all you want. It's still a turd, right? So like the person can look as pretty as they want on the outside, as great as they want. They could be a supermodel, but if they're shitty on the inside, they're still shitty, right?
Yeah.
You can't change that. You can change all of this. You can change everything about you, but if you suck inside, you can't change that. Like for the most part, you're set in your ways at that point, depending on how old you are, right?
Yeah.
Like a douchebag is gonna be a douchebag no matter what at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what they look like, right? Whereas somebody who's super kind and super sweet is always gonna be super kind and super sweet no matter what they look like, right?
Yeah. Right.
So that's why that's why I focus more on the person and not so much the appearance, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I was just talking about this with Sweet and Kuro and how like sometimes in real life
hmm
like looks can be so deceiving and blinding at times.
hmm
Like when
they can
someone's
be.
so beautiful and like this person actually just is shitty. Like they
Yes.
suck.
Oh my God. The
And like
prettiest girls in my elementary and middle school were also the meanest.
why
They
is
were
that?
the
I mean there's exceptions to the rule, of course, but
There
like
is, yeah. But
why is
like,
that
oh my God.
usually?
I
Like
have no idea. I want to say it's probably like, they're like young. I feel like the younger you are, the more of an ego you have, and nobody's really gonna check your ego because you're a kid, right? Most people are gonna
maybe
be like,
that's it.
"Oh,
Yeah.
like we're gonna pamper you and stuff," like especially with like back then, right? Like the whole, "Oh, you're a little princess, right? You can't do no wrong" type of thing, right? Because like,
Mm,
girls. I don't want to say that this is a norm now. I feel like it's changing now, but back then, like, early 2000s and stuff like that was the thing. You'd pamper your daughters and you'd kind of toughen up your boys, right? So I feel like to some extent, girls were probably back then a little more spoiled. Maybe. That's
I mean, it
definitely
was
not
the
the case
guys
now, I
too, like
feel.
the good-looking
There were
guys. I felt
definitely,
like
yeah,
were
there were
pretty
definitely
shitty
spoiled
too.
guys too. Yeah, right.
Once
I
again,
mean,
exceptions to the
from
rule,
my
but like,
yeah, there's exceptions, there's a lot, but in my experience, most of the guys that were mean weren't good looking.
oh really? Oh,
Yeah, it was the inverse for me. It was like the
interesting. That's
non-good looking
actually
guys that
true
were
too. The people who
assholes.
bullied me the most were
Yeah, like they weren't the
they
most
look like they
attractive
just
people
were in
themselves.
jail or something. I
Yeah,
don't know. Like,
like it was like the prettiest girls and the most mediocre looking guys. Like those were my bullies growing up.
yeah.
Like but it's fine. I don't hold any grudges against them because Kids will be kids. Nobody, I didn't expect myself to think beyond a lot of things and let alone themselves, right? Like the other kids that picked on me, right? Because I feel like as when you're young, everything's very black and white. You don't,
Yeah.
your mind isn't open to other scenarios or possibilities. Like a kid isn't gonna think, oh man, what I'm saying might actually be hurting them. They're probably just thinking, oh, that's
Right.
funny. Like this is making me laugh, so I'm gonna keep doing it, right? Or something, right? You know?
Yeah.
So it's very simple thinking. It's just very simple. I don't think most kids nowadays, after working out of school, I've for a little bit, elementary school kids now are so much smarter
Do you
than
think
what I
so?
was. They are. No, I
Because of the
genuinely think so.
internet
Like
and computers and stuff?
I 100% think so. Yes.
Yeah.
Like I talked to kids who understood like what depression was. I
Like
didn't know
how
what
old were
depression and
they?
anxiety was. They were like 7, 8, like none of them were above 10. Like
Yeah.
they were beneath 10 years old and like they knew like anxiety and depression, like what these things were. And I was like, man, like in a way I feel bad that they go through it or that they're learning about it at such a young age, but at the same time, like good for them to have access to the internet to like learn about these things and to kind of, know that they're not the only people going through it. Because when I was a kid,
Right.
I thought I was the only one going through it, right?
Yeah.
So, their kids are so much smarter now. I feel like we need to stop babying kids so much because they definitely know more than what than what we give them credit for, at least
Kids are
nowadays, for
smart.
sure.
And like you don't
They
have you
are.
can talk to kids like honestly you
You
can
can
talk to
almost talk
kids
to
like
them like
they're
adults.
adults. Yeah.
Yeah, you can almost do it, right? Like for some kids.
Yeah.
Granted, there's again exceptions to the rules. Some kids are slower than others for uh, a plethora of reasons, maybe, right? But
Yeah.
you know, there are some very. I talked to some very intelligent kids back when I used to work at elementary schools for a bit,
Oh,
and
yeah.
honestly, bless them. They are so smart. I expect nothing but great things from a lot of them because they definitely have that like light in their eyes of like I wanna do good things and great things. It's like you do
Oh.
that, like like
Yeah.
I
Right.
believe in you. Positive reinforcement, you know.
How long did you work at that elementary school for? Like what did you do?
I was a they called us coaches, but we wouldn't I like coaches and like counselors, but not like the typical like sports coach. It was like
Yeah.
because classes were starting to open up, and so they'd go to their actual classes, right? And then it was my job and a few other of my coworkers' jobs, like after class was over, to take care of them in this little after school program. So an hour, it was set through like we had like a schedule. So like the first hour of the program would be focused on homework, right? Like I'd help them with homework and, make sure that they got it done within that first hour. 30 minutes for lunch. They come back, 30 minutes to just kind of finish up what they're doing with their homework and stuff. And then the final hour would be outdoor time, physical stuff, and just waiting for them to get like picked up by their parents, right? And so I would kind of just get to know these kids through the homework time essentially, right? Like the homework time, I got to essentially learn about like which kids are like, the mischievous ones, the ones that'll kind of try and get you to do the work for them by feigning ignorance. There were some really smart kids. Like there's this one kid, his name was Benjamin. He I told them every time like you're super smart. You really are. You don't give
Oh.
yourself enough credit. Like because you know what you're doing. Because I'll explain something to him and he'll do it and he'll get it right. And then he's like, "But I don't know how to do this next one." It's like, Benjamin, I've taught you, right? It's the same thing. I'm just gonna be
Oh.
repeating to you what you already know. I know you can do it. You just don't want to, right? There's a difference between not knowing and not wanting to. And for you right now, it's you know how to. You're just choosing that you don't want to. And I know you can do it. And so he'd sit there and like kind of pout about it for a little bit, right? And then he'd finally get it done. And he'd be like, "See, you can do it. I told you you could do it, right?" Like I, it was such a nice thing to see him kind of go from pouty to being like, "All right, fine, I guess I can do it," or whatever. Because he wasn't like immediately like bright eyed like, "Yeah, ooh, you were right." It was more like a I hate that you made me work on this, but you were right type of thing, you know.
Yeah. Do you think it
But
was
it was so good. It was so fun that job.
oh. Did you just leave it because of like COVID and stuff? Or like
No, I left it because I technically didn't work for the specific school. I worked for the government. And so the organization I was a part of, they could move you from school location to school location. I worked basically for like a district. And so they, like the district that I was with, didn't really need me anymore, so they moved me to a different campus. And that campus was significantly further away from the first one. The first one was like 10, 15 minutes away from where I lived. The next one I had to take like the freeway, and it was like 30 minutes to almost an hour depending on traffic, right? Like, and it wasn't worth like going all the way out there and coming back because of like gas prices and stuff. And so I asked them to move me to a different school. They moved me to a different one, but it was the same issue of like it was still pretty far out. It wasn't close enough, right? And so I ended up leaving because, they didn't really have a location for me to that was close by that needed me. So, but
Mm-hmm.
if that didn't happen, I probably would still be working there. Like, it was a really fun job. And I've I like the idea of kind of, I guess, being, and this ties back to the streaming thing too. I like the idea of being that that person to tell people, children or anyone in general, things that I wish I had heard
Mm.
at certain points in my life, right? Like,
Yeah.
I wish that I had that positive affirmation when I was a kid and being told, like, just because something's hard doesn't mean I can't do it. It's just, you know, let me tell you how to, and then you apply it, and then you'll learn how to do it. And if you don't get it the first time, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
We can work with it until you get it right the next time. And saying the same thing with the streaming thing, right? Like, if anybody comes into my stream for like advice on anything, um, right, I tell them what I wish somebody had told me in certain scenarios, right? Like, it's it's something that I've always, like, I guess, really liked, is having gone through things and knowing, having that similar perspective that people have, and then having the ability to just kind of be like, hey, I know exactly what you're feeling right now. How about I tell you how I dealt with it, and then, you can tell me if that works for you potentially, right? So, and if it doesn't, that's fine because everyone's different, right? My solutions won't always be your solutions, and your solutions won't always be mine, right? So,
Is there anything else you would like maybe tell your younger self, or that you wish somebody told you when you were younger?
mm, I would just tell my younger self it's okay. Just
Yeah.
those two words. Just everything's
That's
okay.
yeah,
You're gonna be just fine.
I feel like I still need people to tell me that. Like it'll be
Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
yeah. Those two words go a long way for kids especially. Like,
Yeah.
because again, like, I talked to kids who they were like, I am depressed. I hate it here or something, like,
Oh, yeah,
like, and
true.
it sucks to see that. It really does. Like, there was this one kid I remember talking to. He was like, I don't like being here, so I'm gonna. It was I like mentality of like, I'm like being here, so I'm not gonna listen. I'm not gonna do anything. And so I sat him down. I told the rest of the class like, hey, work on this, right? I'm gonna go take Shant was his name. I'm gonna take him outside and talk to him, right? And so I took him outside and I talked to him, and I was like, most people in this scenario would call your parents, but I know that's not gonna help you, and you probably don't want me to call your parents. It's gonna scare you, right? And he looked at me and was like, yeah, please don't call my parents, right? And I was like, yeah,
Oh.
that's right, right? Like, and I don't want to. I
Yeah.
never want to resort to talking to your parents because I was in your shoes, right? I've been in your
Yeah.
shoes. I know what it's like. It's the scariest thing to have a teacher or principal go to you and be like, "I'm gonna call your parents on you." Right? It's terrifying as a kid, right?
Mhm.
Because you're gonna get grounded, or like worst case scenario, like, and I hope this isn't like too bad to talk about, but like maybe they'll hit you or something, right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah, in the
you
worst
don't know
case.
what's gonna happen, right? There's so many cases of what could go wrong. So the last thing I want to do is tell your parents, right? So please, when you're here, right, you're only here for 3 hours a day, right? And at least during the homework part, this 1 hour where you're misbehaving, right? Just listen to my instructions. We can have so much fun the rest of the day during lunch and during the recess part of the day. And all you have to do is listen to me for 1 hour when I
Mhm.
have like this time with you. And
Yeah.
he started behaving like, he still had his moments, but he did start behaving a little bit more after having that talk with him, right? Because you need to be genuine with anyone, whether it's a kid or a person. Like, let them know that's like you're on their side, make them feel comfortable, right?
Yeah.
Because for me, my teachers didn't want to deal with my problems. They were just like, I'm calling your parents, right? They didn't talk to me
Right.
like I was a human. They talked to me like I was just a thing attending school and that I can
Yeah.
be spoken to properly, right? So
Oh,
yeah.
that's so relatable. Just like,
Hmm.
I think not just kids, but people just want to hear that you're on their
Yeah.
side specifically and that you're not antagonizing them, right?
Yeah, no, like I want your perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to understand why you're acting the way that he was. And in his case, he felt like he wasn't having fun. He felt like other kids didn't like him. And so I was like, I can assure you that's not the case. I think the reason maybe other kids might have problems with you is because anytime we're doing an activity and you're not following instructions, I have to stop the activity and address you, right? Like that seems
Yeah.
to be the part where everyone just kind of looks at you and goes boo, right? Like the same way like in school, like we all had our fellow classmates at some point in school would be like, oh God, Timmy over there is talking again, and now
Yeah.
we're all gonna have to put our heads down for 30 minutes because he talked, and then nobody likes Timmy because they notice he's the one that gets the whole class in trouble. And that was his case, right? So I'd be like, just behave, and I promise you, watch, you'll see that people are going to treat you like your classmates are gonna be, maybe they won't be your best friends, but they won't be mean to you, or at least like treat you in a way where you feel like they don't like you,
Yeah.
right? So he behaved a lot more after that. He had his
Yeah.
moments, but he behaved a lot more.
Do you think you'll go back to teaching or something? You seem very
I
good with kids. Like,
Yes, I genuinely do
yeah.
want to work in schools at some point, whether
Yeah.
as a teacher, a counselor, just something. I would love to,
Yeah.
because I don't know. Everyone's like, I hate kids. I can't stand them.
I
It's like
love
I see
kids.
same. Like I
Yeah.
I see them as just the future generation, and if I can have any kind of positive impact on the next generation, if I can help them through whatever it is they're going through, right? Like I would love to,
Yeah.
because I have that insider knowledge because I was a bullied kid. I was the
Same.
person who got yelled at home, and like like
Same.
I every like negative thing you could think of that a kid probably
Oh.
experienced, I've gone through, right? And so if I
Yeah.
could essentially help anyone out, whether it's a kid in school or somebody who shows up in my chat that's going through something, right? Like I will try my best, right? Either through just being a temporary distraction, or if you genuinely need somebody to tell you like how to handle something, I can do that to some extent. I'm not a professional, right? But I can at least offer up some kind of advice.
Yeah. And I
Mm.
think once again, everything you just described is why people love you and adore you. And even though you think that anyone else could, nobody. I always tell people this when they're like, "I'm boring" or "No one likes me." Not that you said that, but
No.
everyone has their own experiences, and everything has things that makes them special. I truly believe that. I know people say that, but
Mm.
I don't know.
I think so too. It's just
Yeah.
it's like I call myself the worst kind of hypocrite because I see all this good in everyone else, but I don't see it in myself. I offer everyone like all this advice and stuff, and I never follow my own advice, essentially, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm I'm a hypocrite in the worst way because I don't follow what I preach, or I don't see the things that I see in others and myself or anything like that, right? Like I will sooner hype up someone else than talk well about myself, and like I would sooner offer up advice to someone else that would help them and not follow it myself. Right? Like
Yeah. Do you think that stems from maybe getting bullied when you're a kid, or like maybe not getting that positive reinforcement when you were younger, or like, because I'm thinking for me too.
probably
Yeah.
it probably does to some extent. Like I don't know. It's a weird thing.
I remember you
I just
telling
think other
me.
people are so much more important, I guess,
Oh.
because I don't know. Like for me it's like I don't want this to sound like it's me being down on myself, but like I want to make sure that if anything were to happen to me, right, like whatever the case may be, I'd rather leave everyone else being okay, or at least seeming like they're going to be okay, right? No matter what happens
Yeah.
to me or whatever I go through, I want at least the people around me to be fine, you know, to understand that like whatever it is they went through that or they're going through, like that there will be a better outcome at some point. You just have to wait and give it some time, you know?
Yeah. Do you think you'll have kids? That's such a
Mm,
voice. Send them from screws.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
That's fair. You're so young. How old are you again? You're like 26 or
I'm
something.
26. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm very young compared to the 67 years that you have on this planet.
thank you for bringing that up. Um, so I mean, I do have some other questions for you. I mean,
Yeah, go for it.
um, I guess changing gears just a little bit. Let me pull up my
Mm.
little notepad file that I had just for you. Um, let me see here. Well, I guess there's a couple things, I guess. One
Mm.
of them was you singing, and like I think you have such a beautiful
Oh.
voice. And like, did you always sing on
um.
stream, or is that like a recent thing that you started doing?
Mm. I
And
never went into streaming with the idea of singing.
well,
No, it wasn't until I learned about Twitch Sings that I thought about it.
mm-hmm.
And there's, oh man, it's always so hard to like bring up. Not because it's like, I don't know, well, I guess it's sad, but it's hard because it's like, when you really care about somebody, it's one of those things that's like hard to talk about. But growing up, my family was always very musical, right? Like I
Mm-hmm.
had cousins who played instruments. My cousins were in a band and they would like perform and stuff. And I always kind of wanted to be a part of it at some point in my life, right? And so I
Yeah.
practiced singing. Like my little kid self, like small younger Kitty would practice singing. I would
No.
sing on car rides. I would sing in the showers and like any moment I could. And I was awful. It was terrible, right?
Oh.
Um, but I guess over time, I kind of found, I think it definitely started picking up after my voice changed, after I kind of went through puberty,
Yeah.
right? Because I think most prepubescent children are going to sound awful if they don't take proper training. And I never took like choir or anything. I just kind of sang to myself in my room. Um, and then one year, when visiting family, I finally decided, this is when I was like 20, I think. I think I was, yeah, I had just turned 20 and I went to go visit my family for my birthday. And I had performed for some of my cousins, not for everyone, just for a few. Um, and they were like, "Oh wow, like you've definitely gotten better since the last time we've heard you sing," right? And I was
Oh.
like, "Oh, that's great, right?"
Yeah.
And just before leaving, because I only visit family for like 2 weeks in El Salvador, and I can't spend a lot of time with everyone because 2 weeks it's a lot of family, right? So we try and spend as much time with everyone as possible. So I couldn't sing for everyone, right? And my grandmother had caught wind of this, and she was, she talked to me the day before leaving of like, I heard from your cousins and your aunt that you like sang for them, right? And that you have a really pretty voice. I'd love for you to sing for
Oh.
me one day. And I was like, oh yeah, sure. Right. And it was the day that I was leaving, so we didn't have time to do any of that, right? And so I was like, yeah, sure, I'll sing you a bunch of songs next time I come visit. And after leaving later that year, within the next month or two, she had passed away.
Oh.
Hold on. Uh,
Mm. Yeah, that's one of the hardest things.
yeah.
I
And
no.
it's fine. I get like this every time. Um,
Mm.
but uh, since then, I kind of took it upon myself to essentially get better at singing, um, in my own time. And I found out about Twitch Sings, and when I started streaming, I was like, oh, singing on stream could be fun. And so uh, I started singing, and people really liked it. And I took it a lot more seriously. And anytime I sing any songs now, I treat it as a performance, not only for my chat, but for my grandmother. The
Mm.
performance I wish I could have
Yeah.
given her essentially, right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
So That's kind of why I sing on stream now. Not so much because I planned it, but mostly because it seemed like fun and I never got that opportunity. So, you know.
Yeah. Hmm. Were you close with her when you were growing up, your grandma?
Yeah. Um, she used to take care of me when I was a baby, at certain
No.
points in my life and stuff. And every time I visited, we would always have like moments of like talking to each other and stuff. And she was super close to me. Um, so everything that I kind of did was to some extent for her, right? Like wanting to lose weight and get in shape was because she was concerned about my health, so I started doing that for her.
Mm.
Like wanting to get good at singing after hearing that she wanted to hear me sing was for her. Wanting to visit more often when I could was for her, right? Like, talking on the phones and stuff, it was always her that I wanted to talk to along with my uncle. Um, it was very close to her. So, you know.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily believe too much in afterlife, but on the chance that something does exist after what we do here, I do hope that she enjoys my performances.
No. Um. Yeah. I keep thinking in my head like I don't want to say anything cliche, but I'm sure I don't know anything about the
Yeah,
afterlife either, but I'm sure if she saw
yeah,
you and you're bringing so much joy to people and so much comfy time singing to them to 50, 60 people at a time, I'm sure she'd be really proud of you.
yeah. At least in that aspect, I hope she's not watching while I'm doing all the other stuff.
She's stuck where you're talking about deep throating and stuff. Like, yeah, that'd probably be
That
bad.
part she can look away. She can look away during those parts. But
Mijo!
anytime I sing, you know. Oh
I think
gosh.
about that sometimes. I mean, like, I don't. Have you ever thought of? This is so random. When I'm like doing something shameful, once in a while, I'll be like, "Oh man, my grandparents could be like watching me do this. This is. Oh no."
I've had those thoughts before when I was younger, when like religion was a lot more like a part of my life for sure. I've had so many of those thoughts, yeah. Oh, it's such a terrible thing to think of. It's awful. But the thoughts are there. I'm pretty sure we're not the only ones. I feel like anybody has probably thought about that at some point. It's like, oh God, my great grandmother could probably be like, who I've never met has probably seen me like do this one thing that's like super bad or something or whatever. Even just like my uncle or whatever who passed away recently probably is watching me like pole dance for a bunch of people now. It's like, oh God, I don't mean
Both
like
our
just something
grandpa,
like
all the grandparents on both sides watched me and you hang out in the shader that one day. It's like, what
oh
the hell is this?
no. Oh no.
The shader.
I hope
Though
I
to be
hope
fair, they
people
probably
look
had
away in
no
that
idea what was
moment.
going on
Yeah,
there.
they probably they saw phallical shaped objects but didn't know what the heck was happening probably with them. Like,
Probably
my
not.
my grandmother would not understand VR.
No, I don't think so.
Oh gosh.
Have you ever, I know you kind of have like I don't know how close you are with your mom and your dad. It seems like you kind of have a love-hate
It's
relationship. um,
it's a relationship of I accept that they don't that they probably wouldn't ever want to know how I really am. But they tried their
right.
best, so I still love them and I hold nothing against them despite how they view things or anything. So it's more of like an accepting thing. Like I know how they are
Yeah.
and I can't change them, but I still
Are you excited to
appreciate what
move
they did for
out?
me. Yes, if it happens, I'm very excited.
Would this be your first time like living away from home?
Yeah, the closest I got to being away from home was when I was young and I'd have sleepovers at like my friends' places and stuff. Like that was the furthest I've ever been from home. So if this move does happen, I think it'll be really good for me in some to some extent.
I think it
So
will be too. And
you know.
you know, I recently moved to Arkansas, and like I was
Hmm.
telling Sweet, but like for the first time in my life, the only people who know me here are the people that I've met in VR.
Yeah.
So it's like I hope you get that similar feeling where you can just be yourself like at home, and
Hmm.
like just be
Oh yeah.
surrounded by people who know like the quote unquote real you, whatever that means, and
The
like
real me, which is
yeah.
essentially just what you see on stream, to be honest. Like, I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
open. I don't hide too much. The only things I really hide, quote unquote, are the moments when I'm not doing too great, I guess. Like those moments I tend to keep away from people. Right.
And that's okay. I've seen you open up
Yeah.
about those things sometimes, but it's okay to,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
try not to too
not
often because
not share everything. I think everyone deserves
yeah.
that amount of
I feel like it's a
privacy.
toxic mentality to have or something, but I have this mentality of like, on stream, I'm there to just kind of be the dopey comic relief, essentially. Same with like friend groups to some extent too. It's like
Yeah.
I always saw myself as like the comic relief of like any friend group. And I still remember the one time I finally opened up to a friend. He was like, "Dude, I had no idea you were this fucked up."
comedians
Sorry for like
usually comedians are usually the most fucked up ones of all. Or I
Yeah,
mean,
no. Like he was like, I had no idea. Like you always like every time you came into like the Discord calls, right? Everyone was so happy to see you. You seemed so happy to be there. Anytime you got into like the Gary's mod server, you were always ready to be like an absolute gremlin and stuff. And like no matter where you went, you're always like just you had this aura of just like happiness and stuff. And it's like I had no
yeah.
idea you were actually like sad. Right? And so that's
Right.
kind of what I try and like do on my streams to some extent, where it's like I try and keep it to where, you know, like on stream, I don't want to bring that into my streams.
Yeah.
I wanna stream and make sure that, rather than potentially bring the mood down, I want to bring the mood up, right? Because again, I see my streams and everything as a distraction from things for people because everyone everyone has something they're going through, and I want to distract them from that for a few hours, right? And if for those
Yeah.
few hours, the distraction you need is to point and laugh at the dumb cat boy saying stupid things is helpful for you and stuff and makes you forget about things for a bit, then I've done my job, right? you know
Do you really think people see you as like the dumb cat boy, like
Yes.
going duh duh duh? Let's all
Like
laugh
that
at
kind of
Kitty.
but like yeah, no, like I want people to kind of like, I guess, because I laugh at myself a lot on stream, so I kind of want people to laugh with me, not so much at me, right? you
Yeah.
know because I know I'm dumb. I know I'm not, or well, at
You're
least on
not
stream.
dumb.
Yeah. But I know that I can say silly things and do stupid things, and it's funny to me at least. So I just hope that people find it funny, like with me, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, mm,
I definitely do. I laugh a lot when I'm watching when I'm watching you. I
yeah,
genuinely mean that. I do. And I think
yeah,
for anyone who's been, I think, sad before, that's so relatable. Just wanting to provide a place where it's you don't have to
yeah,
worry about that stuff, at least for now. And
yeah, exactly. Like I don't know, just for a few hours out of your day, just forget about that. Forget about your ex for like a few hours, right? Or forget about the fact that
yeah,
maybe your mom yelled at you or something, or whatever the case
right.
may be, right? Just for a few hours, right? I'm not telling you to, not acknowledge those feelings, but just while you're here, let's have some fun, right?
I think that's something so
It's real.
lovely about you too, is that even though you do have that mindset, I've noticed that when somebody does have like a shitty day or they do have a problem and they've talked about it in chat, you always address it, and you always try to say
Yeah,
something to help them out, or give them some
yeah,
advice or
because
something, or I don't know.
it's because for in a lot of cases, a lot of people can't just forget about it, and to
Yeah.
at least let them know.
Oh. Uh-oh. Crash? Did I crash? Discord? Uh-oh.
Oh God.
Are you okay?
Oh,
Uh-oh.
I lagged out
Yeah.
in game. But I forget
In
that we're
game
in a call.
and in Discord. Oh, okay. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
we're in
I'm
a
still
call.
here, so you can still okay. I guess I can still finish my point
Oh
of
wait,
yeah, like, can you still hear me?
I can still
I'm
hear
dead
you.
in
So you're
game.
dead in game.
Yeah,
I
I'm
can
dead in
still
game.
hear.
I
Did you
actually
want to
said my
restart
VR.
VRchat? We can finish your
Yeah,
thought, and then we can maybe take a
yeah, yeah.
quick break while you.
Um, but yeah, no, like I like to let people know that their feelings are valid, right? Because
Oh,
you're not wrong for being sad that particular day or in that particular moment, right? So I'll address it and offer up whatever I can and say like, hey, like I might not have the answer to your problems, right? But I can at least talk to you about it, right? And we can try and figure something out. But I never tell anyone that I'm a professional that I can, cure anything, right? Like I can maybe guide you to some kind of answer, but it's up to you to really figure out if it's like a right answer for you or if it's not the right answer, right? Because, you know, it's everyone's different. There is no right, like what again, like I mentioned this earlier, like what might be right to me might not be right to you. What might be right to you might not be right to me, but that's fine. Whatever works for you, essentially, right?
yeah.
But talking about it does help at the very least, uh,
I found a little stand-in for you. A little like a cat plushie.
oh boy. Yeah. Oh,
Um,
I know which plushies you're talking about. I've been in the world before. The
yeah,
little cat bats.
yeah, they're
Mm.
cute.
Yeah, they're cute. I love them.
Are you gonna hop back in? Or how are you doing? Let
Yeah,
me.
yeah, I'm booting up the game right now. It might take a minute just
Okay,
because
yeah, no
VR chat
worries.
always takes a bit, but I'll be back in.
Yeah.
I guess if you want to ask any more questions, I can just answer while I'm
Let
a
me
disembodied voice.
look at. Does anyone have? We've been talking for like almost a bit over 2 hours. It's kind of flown
Oh
by.
man, yeah, it
I'm
flew by.
I'm really happy that you came on. Like, I hope you've been having a good time. Like, it's
Yeah, no, it's been fun.
yeah.
Like granted, like again, like I hope I didn't bring the mood down with the grandmother thing. Like
No, no, not at all.
that's mm,
I want these interviews to be honest and poignant, and
yeah.
like, I
I
think
just
that's
always get
something.
that way.
No,
Like
no,
the
no. That's
thing, no
something
matter
that
what.
I think
Um,
is just so honest and genuine that no,
mm,
you don't have to ever apologize for something like that. And I think
yeah.
people empathize with that. I mean, at least anyone who's lost a relative that they care about, right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
I was this
100%.
I was the same way with my grandma. Like she raised me, and you know, she was just so sweet to me, and she would always make me laugh, and I get really
Mm,
sad thinking about her too for a lot of various reasons.
yeah.
Um, mm.
Okay. Invite me whenever I'm back on
Oh,
Orange for now.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I'm on red. Yeah, one time.
Oh, you can still invite people when you're on Red. I've done that before.
I have to be on red because like even when I have like, I lagged out for a second. Even when when I'm on orange and I have a status that says busy, don't request off me or
Yeah,
something.
people
Like
still
people still
request. Yeah.
request off you. I'm
Yeah.
like, what the heck, man?
I have to go on Red
Oh,
anytime I'm doing any like serious moments
can we
with
keep the
people.
KittyDVR stand? And we can keep. They can be here. I can keep
Yeah,
this
we
here.
can we can keep the plushie there. It's fine. He can
Hi.
share space with us.
Hi, Tainu, by the way. Hi, Alue. Puck, you're still here, cutie. By the way, I think the 27th, I'm going to be on Puck's show. And then on, like, the 29th, right after that, Puck's going to be on this show. So I'm
Oh,
really excited because I don't really know much about Puck. We got to play games
Puck's
the other day.
wonderful.
Puck is awesome, and they were one of the first
Mm,
VRchat streamers I really loved watching when I first started streaming. They were so comfy and cute
mm,
and
yeah.
adorable and just really funny and
Mm,
nice. A sub for a pretty princess. Thank you for gifting a sub to Princess Eloy. Thank you. And hello, Dolphin. Hello, Little Light Dreamer. Also, Sweepy, you're so cute. I saw your kind comments about about liking the interviews and wanting to be on. I would love to sometime, Sweepy. I am completely booked for March. I can see how Puck.
Yeah, interview shows seem to be really popular a lot for people. I'm always like, as long as the invitation gets extended to me, I'm always down to talk to
Yeah.
people on anything, podcast, interview. I'll never reach out myself, but if somebody ever thinks like, "Hey, Kitty would be fun to talk to," then I'll gladly say yes. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really, really happy you came on.
Mm.
Did anyone have any questions for Kitty? I have like
Yeah, I can pull
maybe
up
one
that.
or two more things.
Yeah. Do you want to get through those one or two more things and then chat can ask questions or?
Yeah. Um, so I guess you've been streaming for like how long? You like a couple years now? You've been streaming.
Yeah, almost three. Almost
Do you
three,
have
yeah.
any plans for the? I know you wanted to do more role play and stuff, but did you have any other plans like the stuff you wanted to do?
Um, not necessarily. Mostly just I wanna just have more, I guess, themed type streams where maybe I do bring friends on every now and again for certain things, and I plan on just kind of doing what I'm already doing with a few extra things here and there, essentially, right? So, nothing too crazy, and I guess wherever this whole Twitch thing takes me is, wherever it takes me, whether I get partner or not, that's
Mhm.
never really my end goal. My end goal is just to have fun. Right? Like if it happens, it happens, but it's not gonna slow down what I want to do to any extent, right? Like I'm still gonna, provide for as long as I'm able to. I'm gonna provide the content that I've been providing and then some, you know?
Mhm. I always ask this for whatever reason, but I think food is one of those things that
Mm.
everyone can relate to. Do you cook at all?
No. Or well, I know how to
Okay.
cook some things, but
Yeah.
I'm not like, I would not consider myself a chef or an expert in the kitchen.
What are the things that you know how to cook?
I can make a really decent chicken and cheese quesadilla, and
That
I know
sounds
how to
so
turn
good.
my mini oven on and off for tendies.
Hog. I mean, you don't
Yeah.
use the microwave for tendies, so that's
No, you
definitely a
don't.
giant step
Yeah.
up using the oven.
Hmm. Yeah. And then yeah, I can make a really good grilled cheese.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Grilled
I
cheese is
just know
really
really
good.
basic things. I never really learned how to properly cook anything. I kind of
Mm.
learned how to use a grill at one point, so I can kind
Like
of
a
grill
backyard
things. Like
grill.
yeah, like a backyard like barbecue grill. Like I remember my dad and my mom both tried showing me how to kind of do that at some point. It was really fun,
That
right?
is
I
fun.
learned how to do some stuffs, but that was
Yeah.
like years ago. So who knows if I would, if I feel like I've gotten progressively clumsier uh,
In the
as my life
kitchen.
goes on. Yeah, I have so many burns on my right hand from
Oh,
just
yeah.
things like they're not like big. Well, there's one big burn, but that wasn't from the kitchen. That was from like a thing when I was younger, and I got a scar on the back of my right hand. But I have a lot of like small little cuts and burns from like just being an absolute klutz, essentially. So,
Oh. Um, and I guess one of the last things I wanted to say was, hold on, let me see if they're still here. Oh, they're gone. Dang
oh,
it. I was gonna ask you more about Ribbles, but she left.
oh, yeah, I can't embarrass
I
her.
can't embarrass her anymore. Um, I mean, I guess that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
being here. I had a really good time. I hope I can, well, hang out with you again soon, I hope.
yeah.
I would
I'm
love to.
trying my best not to fall asleep after streams like I have been these past like weeks or two. That's legit
Oh, I
why I
mean,
haven't
that's
been on is I've been
okay.
sleeping.
Well, that's
So,
okay. You're on like the
yeah.
weekends and stuff, though, right?
Yeah, I try to be. I'm trying to be on more often now, yeah.
Sleep
Just in
is
general,
good, though.
like
I'm proud
weekends
of
are
you for
great.
like going to bed early. I mean, what time do you wake up? What time do you go to bed?
Um,
Like
well,
5?
right now it's like around 6 or 7. Yeah, I go to
And you're
bed.
sleepy right now? You go to bed like now?
Yeah, I would be
Wow.
asleep right now. I would have eaten food right after stream and been asleep right about now.
Wow. And you wake up at like what, 3 or
No, I'll wake
4?
up at like 10 p.m., 11 p.m., and then
Oh,
everyone else will have probably gotten off for the night, and then I'll just go back to sleep. Like I'll watch some videos on my phone to kind
okay.
of fall asleep to again, and then yeah.
Do you have a hard time
So,
sleeping like 8 hours straight? Because I do. You're
um,
actually talking about this earlier today, how you only
I
sleep like
was, I
5 hours
was
or something, right?
between 5 to 6, yeah, which is
Yeah.
really all like,
All
it's
you
all you
need.
really need,
Yeah.
right? For most people, right? Like, because the whole thing of like 8 hours of sleep is it's a myth and it isn't, right? Like, you don't really need 8 hours. It's not like the end all be all. Like, you need this to function, right? Like, but it is recommended that you get at the very least five or more, right? And then you don't want to go over eight. Like eight is like the cap of what you don't want to go over, because
Hmm.
sleeping below 5 hours a day is just as bad as sleeping over 8 hours a day, right?
Yeah.
You know, you need to kind
It's
of find like
true.
the balance for you,
You don't want to
because
sleep like
oversleeping is
18
as bad as
hours a day.
undersleeping.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
feel. You were saying like I totally agree. I feel so groggy and like just
Yeah,
tired when
no,
I
you
sleep
feel
for more than nine
awful if you
hours.
sleep for if you sleep
No.
the whole day, you feel terrible because you're not meant to. You go there's like this whole thing called the REM cycle, and I used to know like so much about like sleep and all the terminologies and stuff, but like essentially if you break that cycle, you kind of end up like really messing yourself up in terms of sleep and all that, so
Yeah.
it's
So wait, you
unfortunate.
go to bed at 6 or 7. You wake up at 10, and then you watch a
Yeah, I'll like
video or
nap.
something, or like watch your nap,
Yeah, I'll watch something that I can fall asleep to
and then
essentially,
you'll
and
sleep
then
till what time do you
it'll
wake up again?
It varies between 7 to 8 a.m.
Wait, so that means you sleep a long time, right? Or are you watching a video for like?
I'm watching a video for a bit. I don't fall asleep right away. Like I usually
Okay,
pass out again like by midnight or like 1 a.m., right? So
okay.
I'm getting like between 5 to 6 hours by the time I pass out from like watching videos on my phone.
It sounds like you get more than that, but maybe not. Um, Thank you, Tainu, for the sub with Prime, and thank you everyone who stayed here the whole time. Sweepy, Puck, Nerd, Violet, Tainu. I sleep never. Screw sleep. I think sleep is so important, but if you can get
It
by without
is.
sleeping, then more power
Yeah,
to you. I just think you've heard this before. I just think it's so important for mental health, because if I don't sleep
it
enough,
is.
I find
No, yeah,
myself
I should
getting
have
more
probably talked
anxious
about
and
that as well.
stressed
That sleep does
constantly.
correlate to mental health.
Yeah.
It really does. You need to do yourself the service of sleeping. It's not only for like energy, but it also helps the brain. The most miserable I've ever been is when I didn't sleep properly in my life,
Same.
like back in high school. Like I slept at really bad times. I would stay like in bed till like 5 p.m., right? Like, and I was miserable. Like it was probably the worst I'd ever been mental wise. So like it's just awful.
Hi Jinx, by the way. Hi Astolfo. Um, Sleep is pathetic, says Violet. What does that mean? My sweet spot's about to
Pathetic.
seems to be about 6-7 hours. I think that's my sweet spot too. 6 or 7
Yeah,
hours.
5 to 6 is my sweet spot. Like if I can get that much, I'm good. I'm solid.
I hate sleep because I always like to be thinking and doing stuff, but I also hate getting up from sleep a lot. That's true. I hate getting up from sleep, but then like,
Yeah, that's the hardest part of anyone's day is getting out of bed because you're so comfy.
yeah, you're so comfy. And
Yeah.
what is it? Wait, what did you just say? Sleep is into steppies? Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Violet said sleep is pathetic, and then Nerd Detective said sleep is into steppies, which, yeah,
Oh,
because
hmm.
they're pathetic. I get too
Yeah.
much work to be sleeping, Match. You're so young. Why do
Mm.
you have so much work, Sweepy? You should be sleeping. I mean, I'm not your
Yeah.
mom. You do whatever
Never work
you
again. Working is
Never.
also bad for your mental health. Quit your job.
Well, they're like an editor
It's-
for. They edit for
Oh.
Azzy
Oh.
and Iron
Oh,
Jew.
that's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Iron. I've been seeing their videos a lot on my YouTube.
That's the person that
Um,
edits them, is Sweepy, and 80 might be
oh,
next, and I might
good
be
job.
next.
Keep up the good work. The videos are awesome.
Yeah, Sweepy's amazing.
Mm,
They're such a
yeah.
cutie. I randomly found their VRchat channel. Have you
And they also edit
ever?
for Azzy?
Yeah, they edit for Azzy too.
Oh boy.
Have you
Okay.
ever?
Yeah, Azzy should up in my feed.
I've been
Mm.
trying to do this more, but have you ever just like watched like random VR chat streamers, like smaller VR chat streamers, or even
Um,
bigger ones too?
I what I try to do is if I ever have like a for some reason out of nowhere like a lot of people watching my streams, I will browse the small the smaller streamers in the VR chat category, raid and like stick around and like see what they're doing and what they're talking about, right?
Yeah,
Um, you know, because it's again like that whole like perspective thing of like what I wish somebody would have done for me or what if I were in that position again, right? Like I would have loved not necessarily like the raid but to have people take interest, right? And like talk to me like when I was starting out, because again when I first started out VRchat, like I didn't really it was just my friends that would like be in the background of my streams for the most part, and just kind of watch me be dumb, and like the occasional like one or two people who followed me who actually took interest in me as a person for the games I was playing. That'd be in chat too, right? And so, yeah, no, it's I wish like with small like I try and give smaller streamers the attention if I ever have a lot of people looking at me, and I always try and like tell my chat like stick around, like please don't leave yet, because I know people leave out like when you start setting up right, people leave, right?
yeah,
And so I try and prevent that. I try and say like please just stick around for like an extra minute or two, get your free
yeah,
channel points, like, and
right.
say hi to this person, like leave them some kind of message, because
Oh,
it it means so much to especially smaller streamers. It means so much to them, like when you say
completely,
like
yeah,
hey or say something to them and try and interact
for
to
sure.
some extent, right? So I try and coax people into staying for as long as they can, right?
Yeah,
Like some people be like, but I have to go to bed. It's like just one more minute. Maybe in that like 2 to 3 minutes when we get there, right? They do something like maybe they're super talented or they're really funny or charismatic, and maybe you'll find someone else to watch that isn't me whenever I'm not around, right? Like, because that's how I view raids. It's kind of like as a way to kind of, like I'm not online anymore, but y'all can go watch this person who's online right now, and they're super funny, or like just something. They're really easy to talk to, or whatever, right?
yeah.
So
I find a lot of smaller streamers to be so amazing. The only
there are
difference,
some really good small
the
streamers.
only difference
There's
is
this
they're not
one
bigger.
that I
Yeah.
found that I wish I knew his stream schedule more, because he's one of those streamers that kind of like he doesn't go live but he replays his VODs, like he has his channel set to replay VODs.
Hmm.
His name was Tonberry Tom. I remember him. Um, I forget how you spell his channel name, but I stayed followed to him because I do want to eventually like rate him again if I can actually like catch when he's actually live and not like replaying a VOD. But I never seem to catch him. But he was really funny. He does RP and stuff from what I remember. He does RP stuff, and he's super quick with like jokes, like dad jokes and like puns and things like that. Like he's super quick and like I don't know. My sense of humor is dad jokes and puns. Like I love it. I think they're funny, right? And he's just yeah, he was easy to talk to, and I liked him a lot. And so I hope I can catch him again someday and actually like send him a bunch of people, because he seemed like a very entertaining individual, right? He seemed fun, and like most of the people that I sent him that they like loved him, they liked him, they thought he was funny. So, But again, I don't know his schedule. I have no idea when he streams.
It's sometimes hard when you're. I mean, I even have a tough time having a set schedule. Do you have a set schedule? I mean, you stream in the mornings or
Yeah, I
afternoons.
try to. I try to stream in
No.
the mornings. Like 9 a.m. is where I would like to start my streams, but sometimes I wake up a little late, or like something comes up that kind of keeps me from going live right away or something,
Yeah.
right? But I do try and start at 9 a.m. if I can.
It's actually
Like today, I didn't start
really.
super early because of Discord going down and Spotify going down because
It's one of
I
the
wouldn't have
most.
music or a way to notify people.
I think it's one of the most overlooked things as a streamer in terms of like consistency when you're with
Mm,
your audience, like just so they know.
yeah,
I'm bad
I
at
try to be consistent.
yeah. Um,
I was very inconsistent toward the end of last year, but that was mostly because of mental health dip,
Same.
than a lot of things. So I just streamed whenever I was awake. I was like, I'm awake now. I'm here. Hello, hi, right? Like rather than just streaming in the mornings, which is how I've always streamed. But every now and again, I something happens where I have to deviate, whether it was like mental health or real life things like school or job or whatever. So yeah.
I was gonna ask you something earlier, which was what's one of the most awkward or frustrating things you've had to deal with as a streamer? Either someone came in chat or
Um,
like just something, maybe a pet peeve of yours that some people do, or
well, I mentioned the thing of being like told that I'm, like the Lulu thing that used to
right.
get to me at one point.
Yeah.
But aside from that, um, the one thing that would always be kind of like a pet peeve was people that are definitely not a part of my community that come in and talk about like like hey I'm gonna be going live or something here soon or just like
Those.
like it's like what, okay,
Yeah.
right, like I don't know who you are. I've never spoken to you. Or like even the inverse of like, hey, I have this friend, you should go raid them right now,
Oh
or something.
yeah.
And it's like I'm
Yeah.
kind of in the middle of my own stream.
Yeah.
I'm sure your friend's lovely. I'd love to potentially raid them, but if they're not live after I finish my thing, then I can't raid them. And they'd be like, screw you, get out of here. It's like, well, okay, bye.
Usually when that happens, like I'll respond and they're already gone. Like they didn't even wait for me to respond to them. They're just like
Most
they're
of the
just
time
going
for me, they
around
wait.
spamming and then they're like, yeah, like
Yeah.
raid my friend
No,
or whatever.
I like, cause I'm open to rating new people. Like I'm not opposed to, but it's like sometimes they'll like there'll be that one person that comes in. I'm like maybe an hour into my stream and they're just like, "Hey, it's my friend's birthday. You should go rate them right now." It's like, happy birthday to your friend if it's their birthday, but like I'm not
Yeah.
just gonna end my stream right now because it's their birthday. I hope they have an awesome birthday, right? But I'm kind of in the middle of my own thing. I just started, right?
I just started streaming. I also think rating is like one of the coolest things that you get to do as a streamer that I don't
Mm.
like when people tell me what to do with because I
Oh God,
treasure.
yeah, I hate that too. I It's the worst thing when because I love to stream Friday Night Funkin', and I'll always
Yeah.
have people come in, and it's like when I streamed Beat Saber, there's always one specific mod or one specific song people want to see, and
Yeah.
like no matter what, and this is how I know it's like a younger viewer or something by chance because,
Yeah.
they're very demanding and they don't know how to not keep repeating it, um, right? But it's like for Beat Saber, it's always play Reality Check Through the Skull or Rap God, right? With Friday Night Funkin', it would always be someone coming and being like, play the Among Us mod, and it's like I've already
Yeah.
like in both scenarios, it's like I've already played those so much, and for Friday Night Funkin', I already played the Among Us mod. It was cool, but it's not something I would replay. It's not a replay thing. It doesn't have replay value. I had my fun with it, right? And then they're like, but you need to play it. It's like no, I don't. I already I had my fun with it. It's fine. And then they'll be like, "Well, play this mod instead." Then already played that one too. Like, like this isn't my first Friday Night Funkin' stream. I've gone through a lot of these mods. Like, I tell them all the time. Like, I guarantee you, 9 out of 10 of the mods that you are going to tell me, I have played. But they'll still list me the mods anyway and be like, "Play this mod, play this mod." It's like I played it, played it. It's like, please, like, let me play the ones that I'm currently playing, and then if I haven't played one, then you can suggest stuff. Like, please, just like let me finish my thing. So, and I try not to be mean or anything because I don't want to come off as mean, but it's like God, just like for 2 seconds, like listen to me when I say I've played all these mods, and just wait for me to finish my mods so I can So then you can suggest stuff because I always wait for after I'm done playing the mods because I don't plan streams usually, but when I play Friday Night Funkin', I would plan what mods I'm gonna play that day, right? Which is like 3 to 4 mods, right? They each vary in length, and it's like, like once I get done with these mods, then if y'all have a suggestion and if I haven't played it, I'll play it. But like no, like I'll be in the middle of a mod and someone will be like, play it now. Play it now. I've already seen somebody play this mod. You should play this one. It's like, go bother someone else, please.
Yeah.
Please. It's worst. I hate it. There's a meme on my channel now, because someone was like this, and we all collectively made fun of him, because, like, I think it's not just the streamer that finds it annoying, but the chat also finds it annoying too, to some extent, depending on the person. But there's a meme where when I played the Sonic EXE mod, and there's like these custom songs, right? And this one person kept telling me to put in the code 0000, which is a code for like a custom song, and I was like, wait, let me get through all these other codes for the Easter eggs, and then I'll put in the 00 one, right? But he kept putting it in chat, and I was like, stop spamming it. Like that's kind of like it's annoying, and he kept doing it anyway. So we timed him out, and then he came back after the timeout and still kept spamming it, right? And I'm a spiteful bitch, right? And so I was purposefully not playing his Easter egg because he kept spamming it, and I said, I'm legitimately ignoring your messages because, like, I told him, I made him aware, because sometimes when they don't listen, I will be mean, right? And I was like, I am legitimately ignoring your messages because you're not listening to me, right? Like,
Yeah.
I am purposefully not doing this because you keep telling me to, and then he kept telling me to do it, and so, um, at one point, I just told him, I was like, you know what, like, or I don't think I even told my mods. I think I just did. I think I just banned them, right? And then he submitted an unban repeal that just said unban me. And so we all just made fun of him with the like not like this. We were like 00 unban me. And so like
Oh.
the chat was just filled with that. We were just making fun of him. It was great. Oh my God. I loved that. This is my favorite thing to have done that day. Oh my gosh.
Unban me.
Like no apology, just a demand of unban me. And I was like, no,
No
stay banned.
apology.
No, like I'm sorry for spamming that over and over again. I've learned my lesson. No, just unban me. And I was like, well, no, you're staying banned. I'm spiteful. I am very spiteful. I am. uh,
I remember well, so there's like, yeah, we were talking about this on my stream a long time ago, but those those
mhm.
like do X and I follow guys.
All those I hate too, and the people who point out viewer numbers as well when I specifically have it turned off.
Oh, and
Like
they're
it
like,
doesn't
"Hey, you
happen
have
too
69
often.
viewers or something." I mean, that's
Yeah, and it's like it's like, oh, that's funny. Yeah, the funny number, I get it, but please don't. Like, I hide the number for a reason. I don't care about how
yeah.
many people have watching me. I just want to stream and not focus on numbers. Like, I turn them off because they gave me anxiety. Like, I've seeing the number go up and down, or even just straight up plummet was like
Hi,
painful.
Retro Mary. Tonky,
It
by the
hurts,
way, thank you so much for the raid earlier. I love you, sweet pea. And Retro Mary, hi. Retro Mary says, "Oh my God, old girls and KittyDVR, my heart is gonna melt." Oh,
Mhm.
and
Oh
also,
yeah. Oh yeah, we should probably do chat
hi, DJ
questions now. I just
BVR.
realized we haven't been doing
I don't know if anyone has
that. We
questions,
should-
but I'll like read chat now.
Yeah, if
Um,
I can have chat up too now.
Not
I don't
gonna
know if
lie,
anybody
banning
has any
kids is the
questions.
biggest happy thing I've done. I don't like
Oh
you
my
guys. I
God.
don't see. I don't like. Well, I like banning kids when they're like. I'm like, all right, if you say you're under 13, I'm gonna ban you, and they're like, yeah, ban me. I'm like 8, and you're like, all right, you asked for it. That's
I've
kind of
had so
fun.
many people accidentally, or like I'll like word something in a way to like get people to out themselves just so I can ban them. Like especially when I stream Friday Night Funkin'. Like there's this one person who came in and was like role playing like a character or something, and I
Yeah.
was like, please don't like role play my chat. It's kind of weird. And they're like, I forget, like they were going on about some kind of relationship thing, and I was like, that seems like a very like like a young person's like mindset on stuff, and they're like, yeah, I'm only 14. I was like, ban him, get him out of here.
Are you
There,
an
we got him,
Are you an 18
boys.
plus community?
I try to keep
Okay,
it
so
strictly
you
18
ban all
plus.
18
um,
and unders.
I've made an exception because I wasn't always 18 plus, and I know there are
Mm-hmm.
some people in my community who were here before I fully changed into the 18 plus that I do give the exception to, just because they were here before, and I don't just want to be like, sorry, I changed the rules very suddenly, so you're gone now, right? Like, like thanks for supporting me, get out of here, right? Like, no, like, the people who were here before I made that rule can stay for the most part because they know the etiquette and they know that I'm not exactly peachy, right? But anyone new that comes in and is like, trying to do anything or whatever, behave a certain way, and then they're underage, I get rid of them like right away.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Have you had people
Mm.
come into your chat and I'm sure you have, but they're like, are you a girl or something, or like, why are you in a
It
girl
happened
avatar?
a lot in the start for sure.
Yeah.
Now it's a mix between like the respectful and the occasional like mean ones. Like I've had people come in and be like what are your pronouns stuff, which is fine. That's like the respectful stuff. And then occasionally I'll have somebody be like, why are you in that avatar and you're a boy? And it's like, because I don't know if you can read, but down there, like if you scroll down a little bit, it says femboy. Uh,
Yeah.
like if people come in with like an attitude, I give them an attitude response, right? Like, right, like right, like if somebody
Yeah.
comes in being like showing signs of toxicity, I'm not gonna talk to them like I would with anyone else. Like right, because I don't respect's a
Yeah.
two-way street. If
Yeah.
you're not gonna be respectful to me and my chat, I'm not gonna be respectful to you. I've sat idly by and dealt with toxic viewers for too long just because I felt like I needed it to grow, right? To the point
Right.
now where it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, to the point where now it's like I have my community, I have the people that love me. I don't need you. So I will
No.
literally give you any reason to not be here or any reason to ban you. Like I do not want you here. Right. So, yeah. I'm kind of over it. I'm kind of over being the crowd pleaser essentially. Right. Just being the way that I feel like would be good for me to grow, right? Uh gosh.
That one YouTube comment. You can't trick me. I know you're a boy. I can tell. Meanwhile, Kitty. Hello, everyone. I'm a femboy.
That's
Yeah,
funny
pretty
because there
much.
was a YouTube comment. I made that
Aw,
one meme that
Puck.
everyone was like kind of on to. Um like the Reese's Puff and like CPR meme thing where it's like the Reese's Puffs, and it's playing like the Maroon 5 song and stuff. I made that meme and I put it up on Twitter and on YouTube, and I look through my comments when I get them, and there's this one person commenting like, I like the first two girls in this video, but I don't like the third one. And somebody corrected them saying like they're not girls. They're not girls, it's a boy. And the person responded like, no, they're girls. Those are girl avatars. What is a femboy? Like, right? And somebody responded to them saying like it's a guy that likes to dress up as a girl and stuff, right? Like that's what it is, bro, or something like that. And they responded again saying, I'm not a bro, I'm a girl. And I still I still really think the other two girls are pretty. It's like they didn't
Aw.
understand the femboy thing. And
Yeah.
it's so funny. It's like that's how I know that somebody got my video recommended to them without actually knowing who I am. That's how I know I hit the algorithm to some extent.
Hi, Brass
Gosh.
Jacket. By the way, thank you for the follow. Anakin the Young. Oh, GM Session. Welcome back. Thank you for the race up for 3 months, GM Session. It's good to have you here. How are you? Let me, actually, let me pull up my normal layout real quick. Do you usually have
Mm.
just the main Twitch dashboard up, or do you have
Oh, I
different?
just have my OBS up. Like it's just my OBS, so I can monitor like my sound and everything. And if any alerts kind of get annoying, I can skip them right away and stuff or whatever. And yeah, because I have the mod icons shown on OBS like in my chat, so if somebody does show up and my mods aren't there, I can just point and click and essentially annihilate anybody that shows up and tries to harsh the vibes.
I'm gonna pop out chat here, and then pop this out. Sorry guys, I'm just setting up my regular setup. I usually pop out the chat and the activity feeds so I can just make them bigger, I guess. But I'll put on a little music in the background. I was thinking, there's this, I don't know why I thought it was so funny, but there's this random guy who came in to my stream the other day. And he was so mad. He was like, "Why you support gays?" That was the first thing he said, and like the only thing he said. I was like, "What?" I was so taken aback. I didn't know what to say. And then
I have things like that sometimes, but not that way. It's like I'll have people be like, "What is it like? Like, is it okay to be this way?" It's like I always respond to them like, I don't know, like someone came into my chat earlier today, and then they never said anything after I deleted one message because they clearly like were, I guess, trying to get something out of me or something. I don't know, but like they came in saying like, "Is it okay to be gay?" And it's like, I don't know, is it okay to breathe? Like,
yeah,
like that's not really like that's not a like I don't see why you have to ask for like my approval, right? Like I have LGBT plus tag on my Twitch for a reason, right? Like if you're here, right, and you happen to be that, right, like I support it, right? So it's like when I always find it weird when somebody tries to come in and be like, "Is it okay to be this?" It's like, is it okay to eat food?
yeah.
Is it okay to breathe? Like, like what's the answer to that? Is it a yes? There you go. Like, right? Like, you don't need me to tell you this. This should be like common sense to some extent, right? Like, this should be like the norm. You don't have to ask people if it's okay to be one way or another.
Yeah.
Right?
OMFGPEC says, when people say, "Are you gay?" Yeah, that happens. This one guy just said, he didn't even ask me that. He said, "Why you support gays?" And then I was like, "What?" And then I rated someone, and he said it again to the person I rated. They said, "Why you support gays?" And then I was like, I told the person's mod to ban them, and they just responded, "Fuck you." And then it was like, those are the three things
you gotta
that
respect people for sticking to their roots, I guess. You know, sticking to their guns. You gotta respect them to some extent. Oh my god.
so mad.
Speaking of like people who are mad, okay, nerd will know about this, or anybody that's from my community that's in chat right now will know about this. There's a certain individual that comments on all of my community posts pretty actively. His name is Bill Cipher.
Yeah.
And 1338, I think, is the number 6 in his name, and he comments on every post for the most part. And the one that like was popular that I turned into like kind of like a meme for one of my videos where I told my viewers like, if you're here, I want you to comment this on my next upload, right? This specific thing. It was I didn't need to see this ruined my day. Because
oh man,
yeah, because on a lot, like, hold on, let me go through my community posts right now and like see which ones he's commented on, and I could tell you like the things that he commented on one today, like for Monday's stream. It wasn't even like, because I didn't make any announcements on there today. I wasn't planning on streaming VRchat today, but he commented, "Who wants us to appear in the recommended, honestly?" And then
wow.
And then the one before that was, "I thought I was free from this hell. Why is it back again?" And then before that, it says, "No, it's back. No." It says comments like this. And I love it so much. Like, hold on, there's this
so
one.
good.
Back again, I see. Damn it. I'm back again to complain. Down. He responded to that specifically because I worded my community post saying, "I'm here again to ruin your day,"
Oh.
hoping that he would respond to it.
And then he did.
And he did, yeah. I love it so much. Someone gifted a sub to him in my chat, and he didn't show up today. But I'm hoping that Bill Cipher shows up to my next stream at any point and says something to me, because I really want to talk to this person. I wanna tell him personally that if he doesn't like something on YouTube, he could block the channel and just stop interacting with it so the algorithm doesn't keep recommending it to him. Like, I feel like he needs to hear it from me or something because he keeps interacting with it. I don't know what. Oh, God. Bill's gonna be like, how did they find me? Apparently his Twitch name is like linked in his YouTube. One of my viewers found that like it's the same name on Twitch as YouTube because they looked at his about me thing on YouTube. So he definitely has a Twitch account. He's definitely active. So I'm hoping.
Bill's gonna
I'm
be like,
praying
how did they find me? Oh yeah, you should raid him. You should
I
It's
should. I don't
spreading.
think they stream, but I would love to just do it.
That'd be
Oh my
funny.
God. I love Bill
Thank you,
Cipher. I don't know who
Retromer.
this person is, but they they vehemently comment on almost all of my community posts saying like, I didn't need to see this. I hate it here. Why are you in my recommendeds? And it's the funniest thing to me all the time. Like oh God. It's just great. I love this person. I harbor no ill will. I think this is funny. I think like I don't know how some people would react to like their first hater or something. I'm here literally like encouraging this person to continue to like comment like negative things on my stuff to an extent because I find it so funny. Like it's so like I get a good laugh of it out of it every time. Like oh my God. Oh jeez. It's great. I love this individual. We all remember our first hater. Bill is mine, and I will cherish him.
I don't remember my first hater. I mean, I remember people coming in and saying, I haven't had a consistent hater that's like
Yeah,
come
no, this is a
back.
consistent hater. Like, the first hate comment I've gotten was somebody DM'd me on Twitter saying "fuck you," and then I responded to them, and they
That's it.
yeah, they just said "fuck
No,
you," and then,
no.
no build up. They just said "fuck you," and then
You'll be
I
my
responded to
hater.
them with like a little meme between my friends and I of like, "Have you heard of Tyrone World, the greatest world in all of VRchat, home to like 900 plus avatars or something?" And they didn't say anything. They just left me on red. So I don't think they'd heard of Tyrone
I
World
love you,
or
sweet. You
anything.
hate me, but I love you, sweetie. Hi,
Um,
fractional partner. Welcome. Tiny said something that was pretty funny. Where I
mm.
forget what pronouns he used. Tainu. I think it's they. I'll just use they for now. But oh my god, I had exactly that happen when I was modding for a streamer once. This is from a while back. He would not stop asking if the streamer was a girl. Then he sent me
Oh my
consistent
gosh.
messages asking why he was banned for asking if the streamer was a girl. I feel like yeah, that's Oh yeah, also Mary,
Yeah.
I just got my alerts from Streamlabs. It's not yeah. She
What?
asked where I got my alerts from. Hi Dragon of Spades,
Mm.
by the way, I love you. I don't know if you're still here. Hi Unknown Jay. Hi
Oh
Gumi. Do you
no.
know Gumi Bear?
I do. Gumi calls me senpai for some reason.
Really? They call you Senpai? Gumi is so
Yeah.
cute. You see him? Okay, Tiny. Good to know. Can you give birth to my kid, Sowoo? No. No. Even if I could, probably not either. um. How are you, cutie Gumi? Glad I haven't got to the point to get hate. I already got hit on. Oh, yeah. Have you ever had people hit on you?
Um, almost every stream.
Almost
That's just my chat
every stream.
that's just my chat on a regular to some extent. Honestly, that's just a normal.
Hi, Bun Jinx.
Like that's a regular for me.
Sweat. I had
It's like flirting and things like that, or just teasing.
I
And,
gotta tell you about this guy who I've. So there's this guy. We'll just call him Don because that's his name. But Don. Don was Nerd Detective was there for this. Like this guy, Don. I'll just use their full name so you know who they are if they appear in your chat. But this guy, Don
yeah.
Hotmets, He was flirting with
I've
a.
seen
Have
them
you
in my chat
seen them
before,
in your
actually.
chat?
Yeah,
Probably.
yeah, they were in my chat once. They told me to call them like Hop or something. I forget what they were. They told me to refer to them as something. They weren't too bad in my chat, but
So okay, so you know Kara, right? My friend Kara Ikaros.
yes, yeah, yeah, I
Thank you
know
for the
Connor.
follow,
Yeah.
Skiveni, by the way.
Mm.
So he was going back and forth between me and Kara's stream, like being like, "Hey, beautiful. Hey, love. Like,
Oh,
hey, you guys are so beautiful," and like, and I was like, okay, whatever. Like that was the first interaction. Then like the next stream, they're like, "Hey, like." They're one of those like pay attention to me kind of guys. Like pay attention to me. Hey, like you're not reading my message, and like repeating their messages like over and over and being like, "Hey, you didn't read my message." And I'm like,
yeah.
"Please be patient." I'm like, I'm just a few minutes behind. I mean, you know me, I get like 5-10 minutes behind my
Mm.
chat at times. And
Yeah,
they're like,
yeah.
"Hey, hey." And then they did this thing where they're like they were talking about my friend Paprika, who's a good friend of mine, and he was like, "Yeah, me and Paprika like adopted you, and now like we're your
What the
parents,
heck?
and like I'm gonna take care of you on like 4 days a week." And I'm just like, what?
Jesus.
And he kept. I was like, he was just flirting with me all the time, and I was like, hey, like. I think I had to ask one of my mods to sound like tone it down with the flirting. And I just said like, "Hey, can you calm down with the flirting? It's like making me feel uncomfortable." And he's like, "Okay, love." Like, and I was like, "Okay." And then he just kept doing it
Um,
over and over and over. And like, there was one day where like he just got really mad. Like, he got really mad at me because I wasn't reading his messages, even though like I was, but I was just like
mm,
5 minutes behind. And I just banned him. And like immediately,
uh,
as soon as I banned him, he DMs me on Twitch and is like, "I wrote you a song, and I'm gonna write you another song." And I was like,
oh
"Oh
my
God!"
God,
And
dude.
then I had to ban him, and then I had to ban him on Twitch DMs. And
Jesus
then he like
Christ.
keeps messaging Kara like, "Hey, will you tell old girls to like unban me? I like wrote her a song, and like she just doesn't get it. Like she doesn't they
He
don't
doesn't
get it."
understand me, man.
Just,
He doesn't get it, man.
Kitty's
Oh
a
my
spy.
gosh.
Kitty, I love you, Fun Jinx. When people ask to be your
That's
son
why.
daughter as an RP, oh man, I used to say yes, but now I say no because like people will like come to me and be like, "Hey mom, here's 50 of my life problems." I'm like, "Oh, you're taking this more seriously than I thought." Like the mom son RP, and like there's some friends that
Yeah.
I'm close with that I'm cool
I
with,
just
but
have that in
like
like VR chat. I don't do that with my chat too much or anything. Like I don't adopt anyone from my chat to an extent. Like I let chat call me like mama and stuff to some extent as
I
like
mean,
an
I'm okay
endearment
with that.
thing,
Like, yeah, I'm
right?
okay with being
But
motherly
like
towards my chat. I'm not
yeah,
saying I
that's
don't want to have
different.
that you
Mm.
know, um, I want to
Oh
give
God,
comfort to
like,
my friends, but I don't know.
the invite me to your world thing. I had
Yeah,
somebody
can
I
you
had
invite me
that
to your
very
world, please?
recently.
Oh yeah, that
I
happens
had
all the
that
time.
like they were so weird with the way they were typing. They were like, they came into the chat and they were like, "Hey, can we join you?" And I was like, um, "That's your first message in the chat. No, you can't. I don't even
That
know
is
who you are."
so
Right?
sus.
Right?
Like,
Yeah. Like, no. First off, no, I don't. I only let my friends on the stream at most, and even then, I don't typically have people on my stream like ever, unless it's like a planned event or something. And then they're like,
yeah,
"Okay." But like I still wanna join like and stuff, and I was like, okay, but you can't. And they're like, well, how many of your friends how many friends do you have that are like streamers and YouTubers? I was like, does it matter if my friends are streamers and YouTubers? Like they're my
right.
friends first and foremost. I don't care if they stream or if they do YouTube. I don't you look at them as YouTuber streamer. I look at them as like that's my friend and they just happen to do this. Like does that matter for some reason? And they kind of ignored me and then just kind of like so I'm gonna get on VRC and I'm gonna try and figure out a way to join you. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna give you a timeout. I timed him out and like when I timed him out, I was like, so while you can't type, I want you to listen to me. Right, you're not gonna join me. I don't invite people into this stream, especially if they're new. Like, please don't do
Yeah.
that. And when your timeout's over, you know, we can be normal. We can talk properly and like have an actual conversation. This person had an alt account, and then they came in. with their alt account, and we're like, "Hey, it's me on my alt account." And so I timed them out on their alt account, and I was like,
Hey,
"All right,
it's
listen,
me
you
again.
can't just come
Hey,
in here
it's
with an alt
me.
account to avoid the timeout, right? And you gotta sit through your timeout like everyone else. Like you're not special. What is this?" And then he comes back, he gets the timeout done with his first account, like the timeout's over, and I'm spiteful. I'm a spiteful bitch. And so I timed him out again. I was like, this is for cheating your timeout. So I'm timing you out again. Sit through the whole thing. Don't come in here with an alt account. And then when you've learned your lesson, talk to me again, right? But then his alt account runs out on the timeout, and then he types again. I was like, all right, that's it. I'm banning your alt account there. And if you type again, I'm banning you on the main account because you're clearly not here to listen to warnings, right? So, like, it's oh my god. And they openly just admitted that it was their alt account. They could have said anything else, right? But they like within the second message of coming into my chat, they're like, by the way, this is like the alt account for whatever. And I was like, the fuck? And I timed them out immediately. It's like, what the heck? Oh god.
Being called Sweepy says, I love being called mommy. Yeah, that's fair. I love being called she and her and mommy and stuff. Makes me so happy. That's a little bit different, but that's, yeah, I can see that. Hey streamer, I donated 35 bits. Why don't you respond to every one of my responses to what you thought? My thoughts are necessary for your
Oh my god.
Most of the time they don't even donate 35 bits. It's like
They don't.
They donate 1 bit. Not even then, like, they don't usually donate.
Most of the time they don't. They just ask for attention. It's
Or they'll say, instead of donating bits, they'll say, I will donate you bits if you say this, and then they don't.
I just ignore this one. I don't even acknowledge them. I don't give them the time of day.
I'll donate 10,000 subs if you say, like, you know, some Among Us or Fortnite thing. And you're like, okay.
Yeah. And then it's like, haha, I don't actually have that. Haha, you said the thing, and it's like, I did. Good, you got me. Hee.
Some people are looking to fill a void in their lives, and that can be fine, but one person can only give so much personal support to others. That is so true.
No, yeah, I wish I could give time to a lot of people in general. So like that's why I always try and tell, like, you know, people in my community, like I will never be able to fix your problems or anything. I can't always be there. Right.
Yeah.
So at some point you should seek professional help. I can only offer so much. You know. So
yeah, that's true. I wish I could too, but you know.
Yeah.
I keep my word when I say, well, hi Yuko Nerd, how's it going? Kitty or Bun Bun Jinx says she wants to give us head pats. I love Bun Bun Jinx. She's so cute. She's so sweet. I love you, Bun Bun Jinx. I love when they come in on an alt account posing as a friend of their main account, asking if they can have their main unbanned. Wait, I've never said that happened to you. I don't think that's pretty funny.
I can't remember. Does that happen to you? Person said, but somebody came into my stream and they immediately like said something really like hateful like right away or something after I responded to a thing, and I was just not having it that day. I was kind of in a blech mood and stuff, right? And this was a new viewer, it was like their first time trying. So like, you know, heck it, ban them. And then in their unbanned appeal, they were like, "Sorry, my brother got on my phone." I was like, "Stay banned. That's not an excuse."
My brother.
Yeah, I was like, that's not an excuse. Stay banned.
Hello, or the hey, you didn't read my racist, sexist donation out. That hasn't actually happened to me, but I've had
that before. I've had, because they came in, somebody came in and like donated like in dollars, just like in singles of like fuck this person in particular, and then like said something racist and thinking that my TTS would like read stuff out, and it's like my TTS specifically doesn't read out, and it censors like those words, especially even with the biddies. Like if biddies donations, like if you put something like, you know, just a curse word even, and like a biddy it won't read it out loud.
Yeah.
Right? So and then I saw that and I was like, okay, well, thanks for like the easy $5, and then I banned them because they did it like 5 times, and I was like, all right, that was, you know, $5 is $5, I'll take it.
If I redeem roar, will you both roar in unison? I'll roar, will you roar? I actually wrote that. on things I
Oh.
wanted you to do was to roar. I don't know
Well,
why.
which roar? The
Wait, you
the
have
deep
more
one
than
or
one
the
roar? Oh.
Yeah, I can't do the roar that like you and Lumi do. I can't do that. So
You can
I
do
do like
whatever
a
you want, roar.
mm, I do
Oh.
like the feminine one and then like the deep voice one for my chat whenever they redeem it.
Yeah,
So I
Puck.
kind of
Oh,
just go
drink
like
some water.
roar,
Okay.
roar, and
Roar.
then
That's cute.
um yeah, and then I'll do the last one which is roar or something like that. So
Aw.
yeah. It's like, kind of like how I do the
I'll drink some
ara-aras as
water.
well.
Thank
I'll
you,
do
Bun
the
Bun.
ara and then ara-ara. So
Man, those are good.
lots of watching anime and practicing when I'm not streaming.
Excuse me. I got my roar from my friend Honeycub and then Lumichu.
Mhm. Yeah, I can't roar like
Roar!
like
Roar!
I can't do
Roar!
that. Anytime I try, my voice just goes into like something else entirely.
Roar!
Like I can't do that. Like it goes into like a screech almost. Like I'm trying to like be a screamo like person. Like like vocal fry. I can't. I don't know where to go. Like, I should have like, because I was trying to teach Lumi how to sing because she
Oh,
came
did
to
you
me
do
for
your
like singing
singing
help.
lesson? Yeah.
Yeah, I did. We did, and it was super comfy. It was super sweet. Um, Lumi is so like, my
I
goodness.
love
This is why I kind of
Lumi.
feel bad whenever I don't bully Lumi a lot. I tease her about the panda thing at most, right? But
Yeah.
um, but I always feel that, and I feel especially worse now after seeing how absolutely precious she is when like she's tired and like
Like off stream,
socially
Lumi is
drained.
like
Yeah, like off
is my
stream.
favorite. She's
Oh my
so chill.
God.
She's
Yeah,
so
I can't.
different off stream for
She
anyone
is.
who's
No, she really
curious. She's
is.
adorable.
Yeah. I think most of us are very different off stream to some extent. I know I'm a lot more, well, again, it depends on my mood, but I'm
I don't know
usually
if
a
I
lot more calm off stream.
I'm more
Yeah.
calm. I'm more like
Yeah.
because I'm not paying attention to chat and I don't feel this pressure to,
You're definitely the
to
same at greeting people like you would if it were your stream. Like you definitely do run over to the next person that joins and goes like, "Oh my God,
I
hello,
do. Yeah, I
I love
do that. It's
you,
you.
it's
Hi,
you."
I love you.
Yeah, like
Yeah, I
that
do
doesn't change.
that.
That's on and off stream with old girls for anyone that ever wonders what old girls does off stream.
I
That's
one million
that's a
percent do
constant.
that.
Uh, I think I'm more wholesome off stream
Oh,
sometimes, to be
Violet.
honest. Most of the time, not always.
Violet actually had someone get on their account and got timed out and they lost it. I didn't tell the moderators that it was someone else because everyone makes the same lie, so it wouldn't matter if it was true. It's pretty funny. I'm sorry. I had
Uh,
someone use mods to get into my friend's plus lobby. I guess it was one of my friend's friends, I don't know, but I was in a locked room streaming and they teleported into my room and kept asking how
oh
much I made
boy.
from streaming when I was live and just all this uncozy things you should never say to a streamer when they're live. Oh my god, that sounds so
Oh wow.
uncozy.
Yeah, no, that sounds terrible. Jesus.
Favorite no mood kitty was when he shut down a chatter trying to DM Riley. Rando, who's your BF kitty? I am. Times out Rando. That's pretty
Oh,
funny.
yeah, no, I was
Hi,
pissed.
Toxic
I was pissed
Avenger.
that day because
I was
somebody
gonna
like
ask you about that
someone,
if people like flirt
yeah.
with Riley, which I'm sure they do.
Okay, like I typically, because people flirt with me, and I told Ray like, listen, I've told her in DMs like, listen, you get that simp money. If people simp for you, do it. Like fucking get that bread, right? I
Yeah.
don't mind, because at the end of the day, like she loves me, right? And so
Hey, what's up,
if people are gonna be like that or something, right? As long as it's not making her uncomfortable, right? Like get that bread. Let
Hi, Ag
people be
Carity.
that way with you, as long as it's not getting past any boundaries or making you feel uncomfortable, right? And because I'm the same way. A lot of people in my chat flirt with me and do the same thing with me, right? So it's like I'd be a hypocrite if I told her like, no, don't let anybody do that with you because only me, right? But yeah, no, that day in particular, I was just upset because somebody had come into her chat, just being like, hey, you promised to raid me or something, and Riley has like major like anxiety problems compared to me, and that threw her like off. And I had literally missed this message because I went to go heat up food, right? And
Mm.
so normally I would, if I'm in her chat and I'm modding for her, I would immediately like delete those messages and stuff, right? But I was gone at that time, right? And I come back and I heard that she was having a panic attack, right?
Oh
And
no.
I found out why. And so I was just absolutely furious at like this one individual because I found out that this person was live while it was happening, and he was
Oh
like
no.
actively like gaslighting VR chat streamers with this message of like, hey,
Oh, that's fucked
remember
up.
remember our little contract or our agreement of like, you said you were gonna raid me and stuff, so I'm just waiting on your raid and stuff. And so
Oh my
I
god.
banned him from her chat. And then anyone else that would try and come in to be weird or anything, they were just gone on site. So like that person coming in
Mm.
like trying to flirt with Ryan and then being, I think she responded with saying like that she had a boyfriend, and he was like, "Who's your boyfriend?" I was like, "Me, bitch," and just fucking
That
timed him out. I
who's
was
your
pissed.
boyfriend? Who's
Yeah,
who's,
I
who's
was
your
like, "It's me,"
boyfriend?
and I just timed him out. Like I
He's
was
in
done. I got rid of him.
me. I got your company.
And then the thing is, after their
I gotta
timeout was
spray
over,
a
they were
scratch.
trying to be like buddy buddy with me as if I wasn't like my trigger finger was I wanted to ban that person so bad, but I was waiting for Riley's okay because I'm not gonna ban people from her chat for no reason. Essentially, right? It's her stream, but oh my god, I was so ready to ban this person. I was not in the mood. I was not in the mood to deal with that.
Yeah, I
Um,
imagine.
so it doesn't take a lot to upset me, but the quickest way to upset me is to hurt someone I care about. That is like if I
Yeah.
find out that you hurt one of my friends, you are on my like I still want to know who made Soda really sad one day when they were being mean to him about commissions. Like I still want to know who it
Wait,
was.
someone was
Soda's
being
nice.
mean to Soda?
Yeah,
Soda's
someone is
so
being mean to him.
nice.
He's so sweet. He's so funny. I absolutely adore him. He is so talented. And somebody apparently was giving him like crap for commissions. And oh my God. That's like the first time I'd seen Soda cry. I was so fucking upset.
Oh, wait, what are they
I
giving
was
them
so
crap for? Like,
I
'cause
don't
they're an
know the specifics. I'm
amazing
assuming
artist.
because like maybe they weren't like on time or like maybe it wasn't satisfactory I don't know what it could have been. I didn't really ask Soda about that. My first instinct was to tell him like, don't listen to this person. Whatever they said to you, don't listen to it. Like you are legit so talented and so many people love your art. Like my God, like I love every piece you've done for me, commissioner fan art, right? And Koi,
Yeah,
all these other
same.
people, like it's wonderful. You make such wonderful pieces of art, right? Don't pay attention to this one person out of like the many, many people you've made genuinely happy with your art. Like
Oh,
I still want to know who fucking did that and just beat the crap out of them, like through the fact that I have followers on Twitter or something. Like use my
yeah.
influencer powers to make people like just kind of not necessarily like spread hate, but to kind of tell that person to eat a dick or something, essentially, right? Like,
Yeah.
uh,
So does
God,
Poggers.
because
I enjoy talking to them. Soda's so nice.
he is,
They
he's
made an
great. He
amazing.
streams too, by the way.
He
He
does
does art streams and
stream.
other stuff. Yeah.
Random question
Um,
for Kitty. What happens if I push the power button to power off?
I don't want to make the joke that I make on my
What's the
stream because
joke? I know it, but what's
it's
the
you
joke?
know the joke. Do I get your permission?
Yeah, you have my permission. You can say whatever you
Okay.
want.
There is no off button. I'm always turned on.
There is no off button. I'm almost turned on. It's a scam. It's a scam. This button.
It's a
You
scam.
can't see it, but he's got a. I probably shouldn't say it, but he's probably got a boner, as you would say.
No, there's no circles here. I
Meep
haven't drawn a
sounds
perfect circle yet. I have to
scary.
draw a perfect circle first.
What is? I mean, that it's such a cute design. I really like the power on,
Mm.
power off.
The power buttons are influenced by old JRPG or not. It's not super old, but like I don't know if you've heard of Hyperdimension Neptunia.
Oh
Um,
right, yeah.
yeah, I was in love with that series, and so
Nice. Thank you for the
I
follow.
I put the power buttons in my eyes because I thought it was a cool little design thing, and I kind of wanted to implement that into my
Jinx
character,
is
my little
so
OC
cute.
and stuff. Because a lot of stuff on my avatar like has things on it that like to me represent something that I absolutely loved at one point in my life. Like the mask piece is a reference to Bleach because it's one of my favorite animes growing up. The power button eyes is from Neptunia because I played those games religiously. You can't see it because of this outfit, but on the back of one of my hands, I have my right hand, I think, is the Palpu fruit from Kingdom Hearts. I have it like put on my avatar. Um, I have moons on my avatar as well, and like the little choker and on my butt. Um, because I think moons are really pretty, and I cherish the nights back when I was young when I would visit family, where we would just sit outside and just kind of look up at the stars, and the full moon would always be out and stuff, and yeah, so
Aw. On the butt. Oh, that's so cute. Oh,
yeah, on
yeah.
the like on the shorts, like on the
Just
butt
so
of my
many
shorts,
things
there's
you
a
love
moon.
just showing. I love it. Yeah. The
Yeah,
full moon, eh, Capo?
it's a crescent moon.
What's your favorite color crayon to eat? Puck wrote that, by the way. I never
Oh,
ate crayons as a kid.
hmm.
Did you actually eat crayons
I
as a kid, Puck? I never. Did
I blame
you?
Ed, Ed and Eddie. I blame Ed, Ed
Oh,
and Eddie for this.
really?
Yeah, they ran a taco stand and
I like
um,
blue. I could see that.
they used crayons for like the cheese. Like they
Oh,
graded a yellow
gosh.
crayon for cheese, and
Oh,
the
man.
taco
So
shells were
many
like a
kids
paper
must have done
plate,
that.
right? And so I went to school the next day, grabbed my yellow crayon, and then just bit into it because I thought it was going to taste like cheddar. It did not.
I
I was
did
disappointed.
not. I don't feel like I
I was
ate crayon,
lied
but I
to
feel
that
like
kid.
I
No
know what
way.
crayon tastes like. I guess because it has such a strong smell. Hi,
Hmm.
Betty. Femme
I
says,
was a silly
"Wow."
child. There were some things that I would see on TV that I would, depending on what it was, I would try, right? As long as it wasn't like a threat or danger to me. Like, I think there was some kind of cartoon that like influenced me in trying to eat glue once, and I ate
I
glue.
never ate glue either. That was the thing people did too, is eat glue. I did put quarters in my mouth, which is probably
I
worse.
put pennies in my
I
mouth
thought like
once. And
like coins tasted good, which is kind of so disgusting now
I,
thinking back on it, like how gross
yeah, no,
coins
it's
are. But
awful. Yeah,
you
no,
put
it's
pennies in your mouth? Okay,
terrible.
so I'm not the only
Yeah, I
one who
did.
did
I put a
that.
penny in my mouth once, and I was like, I swear every dumb thing that I put into my mouth was because I saw a cartoon character do it, and I was like, they did it. It must be good, right? Like,
As someone who has way too many friends in
uh,
the Marine Corps, orange is S tier. Wait, what does that mean? Do people in the Marines eat orange crayons, or am I missing a joke? Crayons are non-toxic. Fun fact, crayons are non-toxic to stop kids being ill if they eat them. Yeah, that makes sense. I
well,
used to
I
put
was
pennies up
ill
my nose. Oh
because I was a cool
no!
kid for eating crayons. That's how ill
Why
I
do
was.
pennies taste
Yeah.
so good? I don't know. They're copper, right? Did they get stuck up your nose, Tainu? Oh yeah, I was just thinking of Bob. I was gonna say, did you ever
Oh,
snort
Bob!
pixie sticks? Or like no,
I
someone who
I
snort.
did.
You
I did do
did.
that
You
once.
and
I
Bob.
did.
You snort
I did.
pixie sticks. Those kids. You
It
were
was
one of
for a
those
dare.
kids.
It
It
was
was a
for a dare.
dare.
I did it. I regretted it
Oh, you didn't. I thought
immediately.
you did, Bob. I thought you said you were
I
one of them.
regretted it so fast.
You
It was
regretted it so
awful.
fast. Yeah,
Oh
God.
my god, it burned. I can, to anyone in chat who's ever thought of snorting a pixie stick, don't.
Don't be unless you do. Kitty says it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
I
You
stuck a
heard it here
fork in an
first.
electrical outlet to see what would happen. Oh no!
Oh my god.
How bad? Wait, what happened though? Did it like spark up, nerd? Were you okay?
I did one
Nerd,
thing
try
that
the
was
pink
really
ones.
awful
Do
that I
crayons
think
taste different? The different colors? Probably a
I wouldn't know. I
little.
only tried yellow because I thought
Okay.
it was cheese. But I did one thing as a kid that I think would give everyone, right? Like I've told my chat about this once, and I know like it gave them like the chills. I'm pretty sure it'll give your chat the chills. But I got really curious one day about needles,
Oh
um,
no. No.
and like sewing needles specifically.
Ah,
Um,
no.
and so my dumb child brain saw like how some creepy characters would have like needles poked into them and stuff or all over them or something. And I was like, well, I don't want to poke it into my face. I don't want to poke it like anywhere else. What if I just stick it through my index finger? And
Like all the
so
way
I
through?
all the
Oh
way through, just like in,
Used to sew
and like
your
it
hand.
came out the other
See, I
end.
feel like that was
And
a thing people did.
I didn't sew anything. I just stuck it into my finger and then stared at it and was like, "Yeah, that's in there." I pulled it out.
I think I might have done that once. The first layer
It
of
was
skin
awesome.
punching dance game. I feel like I at least knew kids that did that too. I had a metal ring on a lamp plug and then plugged it in. I felt the shock up all my. Oh no.
Oh god.
I was fine, but according to my parents, I did get shocked and never messed with an
Oh my
outlet again.
goodness.
Hot cocoa is my favorite snort. Oh gosh. Seems
Have you ever
good.
stapled
Seems like a
yourself
good
on
idea,
accident?
but I don't know. Wait, what'd you say?
Have you ever stapled yourself on accident?
Yeah, it's not fun.
I did it on
I once
purpose
like was
once.
running with I was running and somebody had a pencil and I ran into them and they penciled
Oh,
me in the stomach and I
oh
still
my
have a lead mark
god.
on my tummy from that.
I have a lead mark on my hand from falling off my board. Like a few years ago. It's still on the palm of my hand there. It was never there until the day after I fell off of my board.
I've gone through my foot with a nail before. Did you get
Oh,
freaking what's that
God.
disease?
Oh,
Tetanus? I hope you got a
you
tetanus
get,
shot.
did you get tennis? The
I
tennis
once
disease?
accidentally stapled my finger while trying to clear a stuck staple as a kid. Oh no! Yeah, I think that's what happened to me too.
You know, it's one thing I did, not on myself, but on someone else to see if it would hurt. Is I shot my friend in the back when I was a kid with a BB gun. I looked at him while he was like working on his
Oh
skateboard,
no, Yuki.
and I just kind of stared at him and I looked at my. I remember this very vividly. I looked at my BB gun. I looked back at my friend who was unaware that I was behind him at that moment, and I just was like, I thought to myself, would this hurt if I shot him with it? And so I shot him with it.
I can follow that reasoning. Like,
Board. He gets up off his board and is just screaming at me. And then I immediately ran back to my apartment and like shut the door on him. And he was like, "Let me shoot you back." And I was like, "No, that looked like it hurt. What the heck? I'm not gonna let you do that to me." And he was like, "Why'd you shoot me?" And I was like, "Because I wanted to know if it hurt."
why would you do that to me?
He was like, "Let me shoot you
Oh
back."
no, Yuki. I shot myself in the foot with a nail gun thinking it wasn't loaded with nails during
Oh my
woodshop. That
god.
sounds terrible.
Jesus
Mine is just me
Christ.
being dumb, but I learned a lesson to not mess with power tools. Yes, that's
That is
Kitty.
awful.
A classmate hot glued my hand during a group assignment. What? That sounds terrible. Ouch. Ouch, no, that hurts. No, I love you, Caterpillar. No, I miss you. Now that we know it hurts, don't do it to me.
That was my logic. He was like, "I need to do it back. You did it to me. It's only fair." And I was like, "No, that looked like it hurt. I don't want it done back to me. What the heck?"
I have two
not how this
lasting
works.
marks on my body. A very faint scar from when my finger got locked into a truck door. That sounds awful. And a scar on my knee from falling onto a pavement while drowning. A couple years ago, I skinned my knee super bad because I like
Oh
fell,
my goodness.
fell on the pavement. It like
Jesus.
it ripped open my I was wearing jeans too, and it ripped my. Oh, it was terrible. Skin knees they're not fun.
Yeah, no.
I accidentally stuck my hand in acid during bio. Okay, that's what. You guys, wait. First of all, why did you have acid in biology? That seems like it would be a very precarious thing to have. Like it seems like very dangerous to have around kids to have like sulfuric acid.
I never
in
did anything with
chemistry.
acid, but I
don't
blew up
think
a
so.
little test beaker or whatever in chemistry once,
Aw,
and my
boing, boing,
teacher
boing.
looked at me saying, "This is literally not explosive. How did you blow this up? This is not the reaction you were supposed to get from this. How did you manage it?" And I just looked at them and I was like,
I see.
"I heated it up, and it
Or
went."
lost. Also had my hoodie get stuck in a grinder in middle school during metal shop. I still wear hoodies, just not during that class. Machines are scary. I still have hoodies to this day, just refrain from wearing them near operating machinery. That makes a lot of sense. Man, a lot of people have injury stories. I guess we've all like been injured in some
Oh yeah,
way.
no. There was this one time I jumped off of like a wall as a kid, like a decently high wall. Like, it was definitely my height as like a toddler. And I looked at my shoe that was untied and I was like I remember having these flashbacks to like, cartoon characters kind of like, falling over because their shoes are untied and things like that. And I was like, I'll tie my shoe after I jump off this wall. I probably should have tied my shoe before jumping off the wall because I immediately stepped on the lace, caught myself, and fell headfirst into the sidewalk. I was fine. It hurt, and I didn't break or crack anything on like the top of my head. But there are some things that that I sure am glad that I have somewhat more of a thought process now that I that I didn't have when I was a kid. Um, my goodness, I was not very bright. I just did things, and if it didn't work, I would be sad, and if it worked, I would be happy.
I only have
God.
one scar, and it's from trying to flip biscuits while they were still in the oven. Oh, that was goomy. Man, biscuits sound good though.
I have scars on like little burn scars on my right hand from not working my. Some of these are somewhat recent too. Like this is what I mean by like I think I've gotten clumsier as I progress in age. I I'll try and pull things out of my little mini oven like without turning it off sometimes, and I've burnt my hand doing so. Every now and again, or like burnt parts of, like my fingers and stuff. It's just
One of my
I'm just impatient and hungry sometimes.
one of my close friends made me put hot steel against his chest. The hot steel was the Superman symbol.
God.
Result, it didn't turn out. But he has a couple burn scar blotches from it. Yeah, I guess.
They tried to brand
The Superman symbol. I guess TV and like movies make you think that would actually work, but I guess not.
Well, they also did something similar, and I don't know how much MTV you watched growing up, but I think they did that on Wild Boys with Steve-O and Chris Pontius, where they took like a cow brand and they branded Steve-O's butt.
I think I remember
Yeah.
that vaguely.
Yeah, and it worked. Like it did brand his butt. Like the symbol that it was supposed to be
Oh.
definitely worked. But
I think you need a
feel like it
specific
depends
brand.
on-
I don't
yeah, you
think
need a
I don't think he
specific
just used
thing.
hot steel. Maybe
Yeah. I think it needs to be a specific metal and maybe even like a specific like I think it has to be sharp. I don't think it can be girthy. I think it needs to be like thin, like kind of like
Oh,
pencil like
God.
outline type of thing, right?
Oof.
So
Retro Mary. Mary
Gosh.
rammed her chin into the side of a concrete stairs.
Oh.
My jaw was bleeding. That
Oh.
sounds terrible. And my teeth got destroyed. That sounds
Jesus.
terrible.
I've only fallen face first into things once, and it was like I landed on the bridge of my nose,
Ugh.
and it was awful. Oh my God.
I was running after the ice cream truck trying to get ice cream, and it suddenly stopped, and I went face first into the truck. I have a scar on my knee from the road, but I got free ice cream. So I went, oh, did they give you free ice cream? That was Bun Jinx that said that. Oh, that's so
Good.
adorable.
Glad they got you with the hookup. You don't have to sue them anymore. You got free ice cream. You basically won the lawsuit before it happened.
I have too many close calls for myself because I was a very dumb, brave boy when I was younger, and I'm too scared to even be outside besides work. I think about how, like, there were times where I was, like, very close to being run over by a bus or something.
Oh my
and, like,
God.
Or, like, a car, Like,
There was one time when I went to El Salvador to visit family, and we play soccer in the streets because we don't have like access to a park right away where my cousins live, so we would play on the road, right? Because cars didn't come around often enough for us to be afraid. And there was this one time when a car was coming, but the soccer ball was in the middle of the road and nobody was gonna grab it. And so in my brain I was like, the soccer ball is going to get run over. We can't play soccer if the ball gets run over. I need to go grab it. So I ran to grab the ball as the car was coming. And I remember just turning around after grabbing the ball and seeing the car just shoof like right past my face. And my mom looking at me with this death glare of just like, you made the biggest mistake. I am going to whoop you for having done that. Like that car might not have got you, but I'm gonna get you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And I just remember looking at my cousin and be like, I got the ball. It's safe.
When I was a kid, my friend gave me a lighter tattoo. He clicked the lighter and let it light up for 30 seconds and stabbed my hand with it. So the white sky. Oh, that sounds terrible.
Jesus.
I remember Yuki. Thank you for the race up for 3 months. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Yuki. If we're counting how many times I've smashed appendages, I've literally dropped cars on my feet. Oh no! Thank God for steel-toed boots.
God.
Sounds.
Jesus.
Oh
God.
What kind of ice cream did you get, Fun
time.
Findings? Oh yeah. Do you need to go? That's totally.
I
fine.
should. I have not eaten yet.
Yeah. No. Have you not eaten all day?
Nope. I skipped breakfast.
Do you fast? Skipping breakfast
Yeah.
is
I
so
fast and then I
good
eat.
for you. It's like not. The people tell you
Yeah.
that eating breakfast is.
No,
good.
my mom is against
Oh,
me
thank you
fasting
for
and
being
skipping
here,
breakfast.
Puck. It was lovely
Yeah,
hanging
Puck.
out with you.
Yeah, it was nice.
We gotta hang out more, like off stream, Puck.
Yes, there's so many people I want to hang out with more. So that's why I'm trying not to pass out after my streams anymore, so I can try and hang out with people again.
Yeah.
Also, one of my trackers is low, so I definitely need to get going.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you for being here, everyone. Thank you, KittyDVR, for
Yeah.
going 3.5 hours, which was really nice.
I came here to potentially set a record or something. I don't know. I didn't expect it to be this long, but I had fun.
It was really nice having you on.
Yeah, it was fun talking.
Yeah.
It's very rare that I'm ever serious on people's streams, but this was good. This was fun.
Can we get one more shout out for Kitty? I'm still gonna be on. I'm probably gonna stream for a little while longer.
Keep doing what you're doing.
I can.
I'm gonna go grab some foods and relax for the rest of the night. I need to charge my stuff, so I might not be on right after food. So this might be the end for me. You will never see me after this
Never
today.
see me again.
Never again. This is my last night of VR. Once you die in
Bye,
VR,
Puck.
you die for real.
Sweetie.
And good night, Puck.
Girls.
Love
I'm
you.
staying here. I'm not getting off. Good night, precious kitty, and good night, everyone. I go sleep soon. All right,
do
Yuki,
like a whole
have a good
200-hour
night.
stream.
I love you, Astolfo. Yeah, I haven't done a long stream in.
Yeah, you haven't actually.
I guess just
feel
it's
like
only
I
been like
can't
3
make fun
weeks.
of you about it anymore. At least until that happens.
I'm due
again.
for a 26-hour stream.
Yeah, you're due for another one.
I don't think
and when
can.
it happens, I'll be there to make fun.
I
of
would
you
like
for it.
to. I don't think. We'll see. Never say never.
I mean, whenever you're able to, right?
I'm just so busy
don't ever do it at your
recently.
expense. Yeah. I saw that you have a podcast with Kuro again already tomorrow.
Yeah, a podcast with Kuro. I have 18 interviews scheduled this month.
Oh my gosh.
I have 5 next week. I have 5 the week after that. But I love it though. I'm like because it's new, and I'm like, oh, this is great.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. That's a lot.
Like when Puck did his show. Like I look forward to seeing all the people that show up to it and that you talk to. Like I'll be lurking and stuff.
I'm excited for tomorrow too. Yeah, I'm gonna be on Kuro and Sweet's podcast again. They want me to be a regular host, but I'm like, I can't do it every week. But when I can, it'll be nice. We're doing it with Blackjacks, which will be interesting. If you don't know, Blackjacks has been streaming for like 700 hours now.
Wait, have they never ended?
They're doing.
Wait, are they gonna stream the podcast?
Yeah, they're doing I'm not gonna end stream till I get partner checkmark stream, and they have gone.
Oh my god!
How long have they gone now, Bob? It's over 600 hours, right?
I respect that. That's
Hi, Alex the Beat Saber. He actually was able to apply. I don't know if he'll get it. But... Love you so much, oh girls. You make me cry tears of happiness. Proud of you. Why do I do that? Did you say you're going to sleep? Good night, sweetie. I love you, sweetie. I'll give you a big hug the next time I see you. Thank you for the follow, Major. Okay, Kitty. Mwah. Everyone, please go follow KittyDVR. They're a sweetheart, and they're very, very
I'm gonna
comfy.
get to the void now.
Alright, he's going to the void. Oh no! He literally melted through the ground. Oh, jeez. Alright.
Love you.
There he goes. I love you too, Kitty.
Bye.
Bye,
Have
sweetie.
a good stream. I'm gonna
Thank
go get
you.
food.
Thank you.
Shush.
I will drink some water right now. I think I'm gonna put on a BRB screen just because I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick. So, it's getting kind of late. I don't think I'm gonna go too much longer. Part of me wanted to play Diablo, but I think I might just play that off stream. Part of me wanted to play chess too. Hey, thank you for the follow, Izanagi Kagura. I'm gonna put on a BRB screen. I'm just gonna run to the bathroom real quick. I'll play a little music. BRB. Mwah.